Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. I became stronger by spending money. I became an emperor before the entrance examination. Chapter 1. Classmates. There are still 2 months before the martial arts exam. The teacher hopes that you will practice harder at this last moment. Maybe in 2 months, your realm can be improved by a few small levels. A journey of 100 miles begins with a single step. Don't relax until the last moment. Of course, for students whose realm has not yet reached the level of a 4th-level martial artist, although your chances of being admitted to the martial arts university are not high, don't be discouraged. There is nothing wrong with being an ordinary person. Believe that gold can shine anywhere. On the podium of Class 3 to 5 of Anchung Second Middle School, the head teacher Lu Wanqing, who is wearing a white shirt, a red short skirt, a tall figure, a charming, beautiful and mature beauty, spoke loudly. When she said the latter words, her pair of black eyes subconsciously swept over a boy sitting next to the window in the back row, and a trace of imperceptible pity flashed in her eyes. Ha ha ha. As soon as Lu Wanqing finished speaking, a burst of laughter broke out in the class. Along with the laughter, many students turned their heads and focused their eyes on Yi Tian, who was sitting in the back row next to the window. Among the many eyes, some were jealous, sneered, some were disdainful and contemptuous. But there were also many eyes of pity, heartache and concern. The former mostly came from the boys in the class, and the latter basically came from the girls in the class. For these eyes, Yi Tian has long been accustomed to them. He is a time traveler. He traveled to this world called Blue Star 18 years ago. The cultural background is basically the same as the previous life. However, this world has experienced the revival of vitality in the rampant beasts. Warriors were born among humans, hunting beasts and protecting their homes. When he learned about the background of this world, Yi Tian secretly vowed that he must work hard to practice. One day he would reach a high level of martial arts and appreciate the true splendor of this world. But things don't go as planned. Yi Tian never expected that his talent for practice was so poor, and now he is only a level 2 martial artist. If nothing unexpected happens with this cultivation, his life will be over. However, Yi Tian is not completely useless. Although he has no talent for cultivation, he is very handsome and has a grass-level appearance. Yanzu, Bai Jiyu, Young Liu, etc., are just younger brothers in front of him. No, not even tadpoles. They have no qualifications for comparison. Only the readers in the high-dimensional world are more handsome than him, which makes him feel deeply powerless. But in this world, in terms of appearance, no one can beat him. Yi Tian is also very attractive to women because he is so handsome. He doesn't know how many kilograms of love letters he receives every day. There are class beauties, school beauties, and young female teachers. These girls and female teachers don't know how many times they pretend to meet him by chance and want to invite him to dinner and shopping. The bolder ones directly said that they wanted to try with him whether the hotel bed is as big and soft as he said. There are also many mature, rich female warriors, beautiful women, and rich girls outside the school who want to watch the sunrise with him. But is he that kind of person? Yi Tian chose to refuse without hesitation. He wants to practice, he wants to go to the top step by step on the road of martial arts. He wants to be Yi Tian who covers the sky with a single leaf. Although Yi Tian rejected many confessions from girls and female teachers, as well as the invitations to the boudoirs of beautiful women, rich girls, and female warriors in society. But he is still envied, jealous, and hated by countless boys and male teachers in the class and even in the school because he is too handsome. Especially those male teachers who pursued the class belle, school belle, and beautiful teacher in vain, put him at the top of the must-kill list. Haha, what's the use of being handsome? This is a world where the strong are respected after all. The lifespan of ordinary people is at most 100 years, and their appearance will go downhill when they are 40 or 50 years old. By then, he will be nothing in front of us warriors. God is still very fair. He gave him a grass-level appearance but did not give him the talent for cultivation. I am very happy when I think that he is a waste after all. Humph, you guys are so hateful. Yi Tian didn't offend you. Why do you always say bad things about him? The sour and bad voices of many boys in the class caused dissatisfaction among the girls, and they all stood up for Yi Tian. That's right, Even if Yi Tian doesn't have the talent for cultivation, I still like him. When I become a warrior in the future, I will work hard to make money to buy resources for Yi Tian. I will also pile Yi Tian to the level of a warrior. Sisters, let's raise funds together to make our beloved brother Yi Tian a martial arts master, or even a martial arts king. Whoever says anything bad about my brother Yi Tian is against me, I will tear him apart. Yi Tian, wait for me. As long as you can get the first place in Ancheng in the martial arts college entrance examination, you can get a high-level marrow cleansing pill. I will definitely get it for you. And you belong to me, Ji Yu Qingshe, and I will marry you in this life. Sitting in the front row, wearing a white dress, with a cold temperament and extremely beautiful, especially Ji Yu Qingshe, the class flower with a large chest and the first genius of No. 3 middle school, secretly turned her head to look at Yi Tian in the back row. Her autumn water-like eyes were full of unshakable determination, as well as deep heartache and concern. Yi Tian, you must wait for me. I will tell everyone that you are not a waste. I will make you the brightest star on the martial arts road. Don't talk anymore. Let's start the class now. The weakness of the tusk boar is. Seeing that the atmosphere in the class was getting weird, the head teacher Lu Wanqing hurriedly spoke out to stop them. As she finished speaking, her dark eyes inadvertently swept over Yi Tian, and she felt sorry for Yi Tian. What a good student, if only his cultivation talent could be better. With Lu Wanqing's stop, the class quickly returned to silence. In fact, even if Lu Wanqing didn't say it, Yi Tian wouldn't take the ridicule of the boys in the class to heart. He had heard these words so many times that he had long been immune to them. Besides, no matter how much these boys envied, were jealous, and wanted to beat him, they couldn't do anything to him. Do you really think that the swords of the beautiful teacher and the school bell are not sharp? But at this moment, Yi Tian's heart was very excited. Because just now, a data panel that only he could see appeared in front of him. Host, Yi Tian, Realm, Level 2 Martial Artist. Kung Fu, Yuan Qi Attraction Ju, Basic Kung Fu, Great Success. Martial Arts, Basic Boxing, Great Success, Basic Footwork, Great Success. Wealth Value, 0. System Name, Unlimited Krypton Gold System. Function, you can use yuan coins or energy-containing items to recharge wealth value, and you can use wealth value to directly improve your cultivation level, the degree of cultivation of skills, martial arts, secret techniques, etc., and other functions. Has my golden finger finally arrived? As a time traveler, Yi Tian certainly knows what the system is. But he used to think that the system was made up by the authors to deceive people. He never expected that the system actually existed, and he was lucky enough to get it. Yi Zi, don't take the words of those jealous men to heart, they are just jealous that you are more handsome than them. Besides, even if you don't have the talent for cultivation, you can easily find a powerful female warrior to support you with your appearance and save decades of detours. If you add well, you can get some natural treasures that can improve your cultivation talent, and it is not a problem to embark on the road of martial arts again. So, your future is limitless. Zhang Hao, a classmate, saw Yi Tian in a daze, thinking that Yi Tian was irritated by the words of those boys just now, and comforted him in a low voice. However, his words became not right as he spoke. What is licking? Does he, the great emperor Yi Za Tian, need to be licked? Yi Tian immediately stopped his classmate and roommate, his best friend in the class, and said, "Son, don't talk anymore. You know what Dad is like. He has a good stomach and is not used to eating soft rice. Besides, who said that I can only embark on the road of martial arts by selling my appearance? You underestimate me, Dad, too much, don't you?" Glancing at Zhang Hao carelessly, Yi Tian turned his head and looked out the window. "I am a man who has cheated. Do I need to tell you about my cheating? Martial arts realm, martial apprentice, martial artist, martial master, martial general, martial king, martial emperor, martial master, martial saint, and martial emperor. The big realm is divided into 10 small realms from level 1 to 10. We have to find a way to make money." After school, Yi Tian did not go back to the dormitory with Zhang Hao, but left the school and wandered on the street. Yi Tian learned from the system that 100 yuan coins can be exchanged for 1 point of wealth. It takes 50 points of wealth, or 5,000 yuan coins, to raise his cultivation from a level 2 martial artist to a level 3 martial artist. In this era when ordinary people generally earn 2,000 yuan a month, this number is not small. In this life, Yi Tian's background is very ordinary. His parents are ordinary martial artists, and his mother has been seriously ill and bedridden. He needs to spend a lot of money on medicine every day to stabilize his condition, and the family expenses are supported by his father alone. So in order to reduce his father's burden, Yi Tian often works part-time and earns money on weekends. He does have a few hundred yuan on him, but this money is undoubtedly a drop in the bucket for improving his cultivation. As for asking his father for money, Yi Tian didn't even think about it. Dad's salary is not high to begin with. In addition to the expenses of the family, he has to pay for his tuition and his mother's medicine. He can't save any money at all. Yi Tian believes that if he asks his dad, he will find a way to lend him money. But when he thinks that his dad may find a few more part-time jobs every night, he can't bear it. Besides, his dad doesn't know many people, and the conditions of these people's families are not very good. How much money can he borrow? If I can earn enough money to improve my strength to the warrior level in a short time, I can go directly to the wild to hunt exotic beasts to make money. Exotic beasts are good things. Their fur can be used to make inner armor, and their claws and teeth can be used to make weapons. The meat and blood essence contain rich blood, which can be used to refine pills and can also be made into food. Eating them often can strengthen the body. It is worth mentioning that there are beast cores in the bodies of exotic beasts above the second level. Beast cores are comparable to yuanqi, containing yuanqi, which can speed up cultivation and are very valuable and good things. However, the wild is full of dangers, and going out without the cultivation of the warrior realm is to seek death. Although Yi Tian activated the awesome system, he was not overwhelmed by this great joy. In fact, Yi Tian also has a way to make quick money. That is to find those beautiful young women, rich daughters, and female warriors who once offered him generous conditions, and sacrifice his skin, soul, and dignity. But as soon as this idea came out, it was directly cut off by Yi Tian. With a powerful system, his future is full of infinite possibilities. It is nothing more than a matter of faster or slower. With the system, if he still makes money through such a cheap method, he will look down on himself. If it is spread out, it will also embarrass the majority of fellow travelers. Think about it carefully, there must be a way I haven't thought of. Yi Tian held his chin and thought. At this time, 2 students from other schools passed by him. Have you seen Li Li's nude photos? I didn't expect that she usually looks ordinary, but she has so much under her clothes. Isn't it? I looked up and saluted when I saw it. Unfortunately, she committed suicide by jumping off the building. Martial arts loans really hurt people. Fortunately, although I was short of money, I didn't think of martial arts loans. I was scared when I thought about my nude photos appearing in the friend circles and chat groups of all my classmates, teachers, family members, and relatives. Martial arts loan. Hearing the increasingly quiet conversation between the two, Yi Tian caught a key word, and his mind suddenly lit up. Yes, I can find a martial arts loan, so I can make quick money. As for paying it back in the future, haha, I won't be afraid of them when I become stronger. When Yi Tian thought of this martial arts loan similar to the school loan in his previous life, he got angry. The so-called martial arts loan is a loan for students that is lent money to buy training resources to improve their strength, and then repay it. It looks good, but if martial arts loans only charge normal interest, it will be fine. But it doesn't say that 9 out of 13 returns, but also deliberately makes people overdue, sets up various tricks to cheat people, and finally forms interest compounding. It's so black that I don't know how many students are cheated to death every year. Yi Tian remembered that a boy from No. 2 middle school was cheated the year before last. Later, he had no money to pay back, and was sold to the wild by the martial arts loan company as bait. I heard that he died miserably. The school has warned everyone more than once not to go to martial arts loans, and you can go to the bank if you need money. But every year, there are still some students who are obsessed and jump into the pit of martial arts loans. Many people have reported martial arts loan companies, but there are basically martial artists and even martial arts masters behind these martial arts loan companies. And they target ordinary students without backgrounds. After all, how can rich students go to martial arts loans? This leads to the fact that even if they cause some deaths, the parents of those students have no way to deal with them. Yi Tian was a good student, so he didn't think of this method at first. Now, after hearing the conversation between the two students before, his brain was like suddenly electrified and became active in an instant. Martial arts loan, right? No one can cure you, right? You, the great Emperor Yi Tian, are here, and you will know what pain is. Boy, after this contract is signed, these 9,000 yuan coins will be yours. In a martial arts loan company not far from No. 3 Middle School, a middle-aged man who looked like a big brother leaned on a chair and pointed to a contract covered with dense words on the table and a stack of yuan coins and said, I borrowed 10,000, why did you only give me 9,000? Yi Tian pretended to be puzzled. Boy, do you understand the rules? Do you know that 90% out of 13 return? If you don't lend me, get out of here now. Brother Qian, don't be angry, I'm just asking, but can I lend you more? Otherwise, you can lend me 900,000 directly, and I will pay you 2 million when the time comes. Do you think it's feasible? Are you here to make trouble? 900,000, do you think you are a beautiful female warrior? Seeing Yi Tian's big mouth, the middle-aged man was so angry that his temples bulged and wanted to hit him. If you don't lend me, leave. We have never lacked student loans at Guanai Loan, I will sign the contract now, don't be angry, Brother Qian. Seeing that the atmosphere was about to become tense, and Yi Tian had never thought that he could really borrow 900,000 here. So he signed his name directly on the contract and handed over a copy of his ID number and student ID. With the money, Yi Tian left here directly. Seeing Yi Tian leaving, a younger brother beside the middle-aged man said worriedly, Boss, this kid is only a level 2 martial arts apprentice. He can't get into the martial arts university at all. He is destined to be an ordinary person. Isn't it risky to lend him 9,000 yuan at once? The middle-aged man smiled faintly and said, What do you know, kid? That kid is so handsome, how can he lack the ability to make money? It's just that I don't like that, otherwise I will make him crawl out. So that's the case, boss, you still see it clearly, I admit defeat. After leaving the Care for Martial Arts Loan Company, Yi Tian turned on his phone and continued searching. Soon, the locations of many martial arts loan companies appeared on his screen. Then Yi Tian went to these martial arts loan companies one by one, a total of 16, plus the previous 17. Relying on his own appearance, Yi Tian was able to borrow money from these martial arts loan companies, and it was even more convenient than many girls to borrow money. From these martial arts loan companies, Yi Tian borrowed a total of 145,000 yuan. What Yi Tian didn't expect was that a martial arts loan company called Hao Zai Lai generously lent him 30,000 yuan at one time. This is not a small amount of money. From the fact that other martial arts loan companies were stingy and only lent him 9,000 yuan at most, it can be seen that this martial arts loan company was generous. It's a pity that there is only one such company, otherwise I would be very happy. Now that I have the money, it's time to find a place to test Tongzi's depth. Yi Tian looked around and walked towards an empty alley. He didn't notice that after he left, a shadow quietly followed him. System, improve my realm. There was no one around the corner of the alley. Yi Tian exchanged 80,000 coins and obtained 800 energy points, allowing the system to improve its strength. Ding, consume 50 points of wealth, and the cultivation level is increased to level 3 martial artist. Ding, consume 50 points of wealth, and the cultivation level is increased to level 4 martial artist. Ding, consume 50 points of wealth, and the cultivation level is increased to level 5 martial artist. Ding, consume 200 points of wealth, and the cultivation level is increased to level 1 warrior. Ding, consume 200 points of wealth, and the cultivation level is increased to level 2 warrior. After a series of prompts sounded, the vitality in Yi Tian's dantian quickly increased from 2 at the beginning to 10, and then turned into a cyclone, and then quickly turned into a cyclone with 2 spiral arms. Feeling the surging vitality in his body, as well as the substantial improvement in his physique, strength, 5 senses, etc. brought by the improvement of his cultivation, Yi Tian had the urge to roar to the sky. This taste is so refreshing. With my current cultivation level, I must have no problem ranking in the top 100 in school, and I can also be admitted to a second-rate martial arts university. But with the system, my goal can't just be placed on second-rate martial arts universities, at least I have to be admitted to those two top martial arts universities that everyone wants to go to. When Yi Tian thought of his parents' happy look when he was admitted to the top martial arts universities, he was very excited. Moreover, after being admitted to these two martial arts universities, not only will the school and the city give him a considerable bonus, but he can also become a celebrity in the city, receive various endorsements, and make a lot of money. However, what Yi Tian wants most is the vitality pill. This is a powerful pill that can revive the dead and remove all kinds of negative effects on the body. Thinking of his mother's early encounter with the blood poison python, her legs were bitten off, and the poison gas entered her body and injured her internal organs. She lived in the pain of being tortured by the poison every day. Yi Tian felt very uncomfortable. He knew that there were saint-level alchemists in the two top martial arts schools who could refine this magical saint-level elixir. But if I want to be admitted to the two top martial arts schools, it's not enough to rely on my level 2 martial arts cultivation. I need to become stronger, at least to reach the martial arts master level to have a chance. I still have a long way to go. To make money, I must make more money. Thinking of this, Yi Tian planned to go to the martial arts shop to have a look. He planned to buy a weapon and then go to the wild to hunt strange beasts. Although his cultivation level has been raised to the level 2 warrior, the beasts have been nourished by the vitality for many years, and their skin is thick. It is extremely difficult to kill them with fists and feet alone, and it is also very unwise. If there is a high-level weapon at hand, the effect will be different. Bang! Yi Tian was about to leave. At this moment, a figure rushed from behind him. A punch hit his back, and the fist was very powerful, causing airflow to surge. Who is it? Looking for death. With the cultivation level of the second-level warrior, Yi Tian's 5 senses have been greatly improved. The moment the opponent attacked, he heard the sound of the opponent's fist rubbing against the air. Yi Tian turned around at the first time and also punched. His fist was wrapped with vitality, and the force was very strong. It hit the fist of the man wearing a black mask on his head, revealing only his eyes and nostrils. When the opponent attacked, all the aura on his body was revealed. He was just a level 7 martial artist. Such a cultivation level is not a match for Yi Tian. Bang! After being hit by Yi Tian's fist, the flesh and blood on the black-hooded man's fist exploded instantly, and many broken bones flew out. The powerful force blasted him out along his arm, and he hit the wall heavily, making a dull sound of heavy objects hitting the wall. Puff! The black-hooded man was seriously injured by the blow and the secondary blow of the collision, and a mouthful of blood spurted out of his mouth. He looked at Yi Tian, who was walking towards him like the god of death, in disbelief. It doesn't make sense. Aren't you a level 2 martial artist? How did you suddenly become a level 2 martial artist? You know me. Hearing the voice of the black-hooded man, Yi Tian was stunned for a moment, and then quickly rushed to the front of the black-hooded man. Crack! Yi Tian's knee broke the black-hooded man's ribs heavily, and he pinched the wrist of his other intact hand with one hand, and lifted the black mask on his head with the other hand. It turned out to be you. After seeing the appearance of the black-hooded man, Yi Tian knew who the other party was. It was the man from the martial arts loan company that he had just said generously, "Come back again." When he went to the martial arts loan company before, it was this man who received him. He was also excited because he got a loan of 30,000 yuan at once. Now seeing this man, Yi Tian immediately understood. The people in this martial arts loan company are much more evil and hateful than those in other martial arts loan companies. They obviously plan to lend money to others and then take back the money that those people borrowed. In this way, those who borrowed money not only did not get the money, but also owed them a lot of debts. Yi Tian didn't need to think about what the final outcome of these lenders would be. Tell me, how many people are there in your company? What level of cultivation are they? What weapons and martial arts do they use? After understanding this, Yi Tian was immediately furious, and was glad that he had improved his strength, otherwise he would have suffered this loss. Boy, let me tell you, my boss is a level 9 warrior. Although you are a level 2 warrior, you are still not my boss's opponent. I advise you to let me go, otherwise you will have a bad result. Ah, it hurts. If you keep talking, I'll break your other arm too. Seeing the man's endless threats, Yi Tian decisively broke one of the man's arms. The pain made the man realize that Yi Tian was not like the students he had met before, who were easily fooled and intimidated. He no longer dared to threaten Yi Tian, and honestly cooperated with Yi Tian's questioning. He just hoped that Yi Tian would let him go in the end. With the cooperation of the man, Yi Tian quickly understood the personnel and strength of the Hao Zai Lai martial arts loan company. Including this man, there were 10 people in total. 6 martial artists. The realm is not important, the main thing is that the remaining 4 people are martial artists. The strongest is the boss in this guy's mouth, that is, the boss of the Hao Zai Lai martial arts loan company. A level 9 martial artist, he also mastered a powerful elementary martial arts and an elementary weapon, and his strength is very strong among martial artists. The realms of the remaining 3 martial artists are also between level 3 and level 5. Your luck is not over yet, and I will destroy you after my strength improves. After learning about the strength level of this company, Yi Tian's anger gradually subsided. The enemy is too strong, and he can't deal with it now. However, Yi Tian is not a person who will not take revenge. He believes that his strength will soon improve, and then his men will see the real test. Brother, look at what I've said, can you? Password. Ah, what password? Tell me the password of your bank card. Ah, okay, I'll say. Yes. Seeing that Yi Tian was going to rob, the man was unwilling, but in order to avoid having his other arm broken and to save his life, he still cooperated honestly. What a poor guy. Seeing that there was only 4,100 yuan on the other party's bank card, Yi Tian was disappointed. This guy is a level 7 martial artist after all, and his net worth is only this little, which is really embarrassing. But fortunately, as long as you have someone else's bank card account and password, you can directly recharge the other party's money into the system, so I won't be exposed. But this guy can't be let go. Looking at the man who looked at him pitifully like a pug, Yi Tian finally made up his mind. With a click, he broke the man's neck. After touching the valuables on his body, Yi Tian directly threw the man's body into a sewer not far away. Brother, don't blame me for killing you. I can't expose too much in this era. First time killing someone. Yi Tian felt a little uncomfortable. But when he thought about letting this person go back, he would expose his own situation. He couldn't deal with those 4 warriors now. In this case, he could only kill the other party. But Yi Tian didn't feel any burden in his heart. This person attacked him first, so he killed him. Thinking that he might have to kill many people in his future martial arts, Yi Tian's discomfort gradually subsided. If you want to go far in the martial arts, how can you not be stained with blood? Even if he didn't hurt anyone, it doesn't mean that others didn't hurt his heart. In order to protect himself and his family, he can only choose to be ruthless to the enemy. Hello, I want to buy a beginner knife weapon and a beginner knife martial arts. After dealing with the body of the black-hooded man, Yi Tian went to the martial arts street without stopping. Entering the Wanbao building under the well-known Lei Ting martial arts school. The shelves in the store are full of various items, weapons, skills, martial arts, elixirs, etc., which dazzled Yi Tian. But when he thought of his pockets being empty, Yi Tian had to retract his reluctant gaze, found a beautiful staff member, and said what he needed directly. Ah, okay. The female staff member saw the handsome Yi Tian who suddenly appeared in front of her, and she was inadvertently infatuated with him, staring at Yi Tian's handsome face. If she hadn't undergone various trainings before taking up the job and had a certain resistance to the handsome man's appearance, she would probably be intoxicated by Yi Tian's handsome appearance and fall into Yi Tian's arms and take whatever he wanted. What a handsome man, and he's still so young. If I could be his woman, I would be so happy. The female staff member suddenly became excited and imagined all kinds of postures. She even thought of the name of the 100th child. Although she thought so in her heart, she did not forget her job and quickly typed it on the computer. Yi Tian, are you here to buy something? While Yi Tian was waiting, 2 extremely eye-catching figures walked in from outside side by side. The woman on the left was about 20 years old, with a beautiful face and fair skin, as if she could squeeze water out. She was tall and wore a purple lace dress with a purple ribbon tied around her waist, revealing a pair of long beautiful legs under her waist. But the most eye-catching thing was that she had a pair of E-bars on her chest. The woman on the right was also about 20 years old, with fair skin and beautiful appearance. She wore a fiery red high-end silk lace dress and her hair reached her waist. There is a red ribbon tied around her waist, which makes people imagine and want to untie it to see the beautiful scenery inside. She also has a pair of long legs, and her chest is also full. Even if it is not as good as the purple-dressed woman next to her, the difference is not very big. Wow, these two beauties are so beautiful. When did our Anchang city have such beautiful beauties? No way, you don't know these two. The one wearing the purple skirt is Yao Ruowu, the daughter of the famous Thunder Martial Arts Hall, and the one wearing the red skirt is her good friend, Fang Hanyu, the daughter of the commander of the City Defense Army. They are all rare beauties, one of the 3 most beautiful women in our city, and they are all students of the top martial arts school in Longdu. No way, the pearl of the owner Yao, the daughter of Commander Fang, and the student of Longda, are all so beautiful. I don't know what kind of man will be lucky enough to marry such a proud girl in the future. You don't have to worry about this, it's definitely not us anyway. The man who can be favored by these 2 proud girls must be a very talented person, right? When I think that the 2 goddesses will become other men in the future, I feel very uncomfortable. When the 2 women appeared, they attracted the attention of other male customers in the store, and they whispered to each other. The one who called Yi Tian just now was the red-dressed woman Fang Hanyu. Well, Teacher Fang, I came here to buy something. When he heard someone calling him, Yi Tian turned around and greeted Fang Hanyu. But although he called Fang Hanyu teacher, she was not her teacher. Fang Hanyu was a student of Longdu's top martial arts school. Not long ago, she returned to Anchang City with Yao Ruowu and was invited by the principal of No. 2 Middle School to serve as the combat teacher of the geniuses of No. 2 Middle School. He had met her before in school. Perhaps because he was too famous in school, Fang Hanyu also knew him and took the initiative to greet him, so they got to know each other. Okay, then you buy it. My friend and I have something to do, so I'll go up first. Fang Hanyu nodded to Yi Tian, and walked towards the stairs leading up with the purple-skirted woman Yao Ruowu. On the way, the purple-skirted woman glanced at Yi Tian and said to the female staff in front of him, "Since Hanyu knows this person, Xiaofeng, give this classmate the lowest discount." After saying that, without waiting for Yi Tian to thank her, Yao Ruowu looked at her bestie and said as she walked, "Hanyu, he is the handsome guy named Yi Tian in your school. It's better to meet him than to hear about him. He is really a handsome boy. No wonder you often talk about him in front of me." Yes, it's him. It's a pity that his cultivation talent is too poor. Now he is only a level 2 martial artist. His family background is also very ordinary. His mother is seriously ill and bedridden. He is also very strong-willed. It is estimated that it will be difficult for him to embark on the road of martial arts in this life. My Miss Fang, when did you take the initiative to understand a man? You are not in love with him, right? Ha ha ha, that's right. One of our young ladies said that she would definitely marry a handsome man in the future. Yi Tian's appearance is completely in line with that. No, his appearance is so handsome that it far exceeds your standard. Okay, Xiao Wu, you dare to tease me. I will punish you with my dragon claw hand. No, you idiot. If you continue like this, mine will be bigger, and it will be even harder for you to catch up with me. You little fool, who is small. Go to hell for this fairy. The 2 girls played and quarreled, and soon disappeared at the corner of the stairs. They actually spoke in a very low voice. Yi Tian only vaguely heard some of their conversations and captured some keywords because he broke through to the warrior realm. Looking for a handsome guy. It turns out that Teacher Fang is also a beauty party. Yi Tian grinned. It seems that he is the only one in the world who meets Teacher Fang's mate selection standards. A gentleman likes a beautiful lady. Yi Tian naturally likes beautiful women, especially Fang Hanyu, who is a rare beauty. If one day he could conquer this beautiful teacher who was as beautiful as fire, it would be an exciting thing. But Yi Tian quickly put this idea out. Improving strength is the most important thing at the moment. Whether in the past life or this life, strength is a stepping stone and a preservative. Without strength, no matter how good it is at the beginning, it will eventually be defeated by reality and time. But it would be great if there were more beautiful young ladies like Yao Ruowu who don't covet my body and are generous. Some people around saw Fang Hanyu greet Yi Tian and Miss Yao gave Yi Tian a discount, and they all showed envious expressions. But when they noticed Yi Tian's appearance, they all turned their heads away. How can there be such a handsome man in the world? So ashamed, so embarrassed. There were also some female customers in the store, and their eyes looking at Yi Tian were shining. The bolder women even brushed against Yi Tian, leaving softness and fragrance on his arms, and leaving contact information in his clothes pockets. Yi Tian had no choice but to walk to the corner and urge the female staff to hurry up. Soon the female staff brought a bunch of primary knife weapons and primary knife skills. Yi Tian took a quick look and quickly chose what he wanted. The weapon was a primary alloy long knife, similar to the style of Tang Dao. Because it contained titanium, it was not very heavy, but it was very tough and sharp, and could easily break the body of a second-level alien beast. The martial arts was the primary martial arts, layer sword technique. There were 3 moves in total, and the continuous use was like a wave stacking, and each move was more powerful than the previous one. The power of the last third move was twice that of the first move. However, primary weapons and primary martial arts were very expensive. After the lowest 70% discount, Yi Tian spent 40,000 yuan coins. Seeing that there were more than 20,000 yuan coins left in his pocket, Yi Tian thought about it, spent a few thousand yuan to buy a set of basic combat clothes, some basic hemostatic pills and wound medicine, and left here. After finding a deserted place, Yi Tian counted the remaining coins on him, and found that he still had 16,500 yuan. He only kept 500 yuan and recharged the rest into wealth points. He began to improve the progress of practicing Dilang sword technique. Ding, 30 points of wealth points are consumed, and Dilang sword technique is practiced to the entry level. Ding, consume 50 points of wealth, and practice the Dilang sword technique to minor success. Ding, consume 80 points of wealth, and practice the Dilang sword technique to major success. The progress of martial arts, skills, and secret techniques is divided into 4 levels: entry level, minor success, major success, and perfection. Practicing martial arts to the entry level can form combat effectiveness, and practicing to the major success will greatly increase combat effectiveness. If you practice to perfection, you can fully exert the power of a martial art. After practicing the Dilang sword technique to the major success, Yi Tian's mind appeared with a lot of sword practice memories. It was as if he had practiced it for many years, completely belonging to himself, and could be easily displayed. Clang! Yi Tian couldn't help but chop with a knife. The knife flashed. A blue stone on the ground that was more than 1 meter long and more than 1 foot thick was cut in half. This was the destructive power caused by his casual attack without using his vitality. If he used vitality and sword skills, the power would be even more amazing. Mastering this martial art, with this elementary long sword, I am already good in the realm of warriors with my current combat power. After all, even a genius needs a lot of time to practice an elementary martial art to perfection, not to mention people with ordinary talents. Back in the dormitory, Zhang Hao was playing a 5vs5 mobile game launched by the Big Goose Group not long ago. Yizi, why did you come back so late? Did you go home to see your parents? Zhang Hao glanced at Yi Tian and asked, and then continued to kill people in the canyon. His talent for cultivation is better than Yi Tian. But it's not much better, he is only a level 5 martial artist at present. At this level, it is quite possible to get into a specialized martial arts academy. However, Zhang Hao's family conditions are not bad. His parents are both warriors and run a supermarket. Even if he can't go far in the martial arts road in the future, his future will not be too bad, so he chose to lie down early. No, I went out to buy a weapon and plan to go to the wild to hunt monsters tomorrow. Remember to ask Teacher Lu for leave for me. Yi Tian put the long knife on the bed, drank a sip of water and said casually. Hearing Yi Tian's words, Zhang Hao's hands trembled while playing games. They were fighting against each other, which led to the death of his most proud Diao Chan. Putting down the phone, Zhang Hao walked to Yi Tian in disbelief and asked. Yizi, don't you know that the wild is extremely dangerous? You are only a level 2 martial artist, how can you kill a strange beast? You are the only son of your parents, you have to think about it. At most, I will protect you in the future. Yi Tian was still very touched by Zhang Hao's concern, but the other party didn't know his situation. After thinking about it, Yi Tian changed his words and smiled. Why are you so serious? I'm kidding you, I plan to go out and find a job tomorrow, otherwise the competition pressure will be very high when I graduate and find a job. Oh, I said, you are usually so calm and rational, how could you do such a thing to die? Don't worry, I will ask for leave for you, I won't tell you any more, my sister Chan is resurrected. Seeing that Yi Tian was not going to the wild, Zhang Hao was no longer worried and started to operate his most proud Diao Chan to fight 5 people. Seeing Zhang Hao lying flat, Yi Tian took a long breath. If there was no system, he might also go out to find a job tomorrow as he said just now. In this era, there are only martial arts exams but no literary exams. If you fail the martial arts exam, you can only go to work in society and contribute to the construction of the city and the service of warriors. But now it is different. He has such an awesome system, and his life has really begun. Go hunt monsters tomorrow. The road of martial arts, I, Emperor Yi Tian, am here. At this moment, Yi Tian was filled with an amazing heroic spirit. The next morning, Yi Tian carried his bag and long sword and left the school quietly. There are 2 largest exotic beast forests outside Ancheng City. One is the red maple forest and the other is the fallen leaf forest. The former is very large, with many exotic beasts and powerful ones. It is said that in the depths of the red maple forest, there are many powerful beast kings and exotic beasts, which are very dangerous. Compared with the red maple forest, the fallen leaf forest is much smaller, and the exotic beasts in it are mostly at the 1st to 3rd level, which is equivalent to the martial arts apprentice to martial arts master among humans. Only in the deepest part are there 4th level exotic beasts. For newcomers who have just entered the wilderness, the fallen leaf forest is undoubtedly much safer and the best choice. The first stop Yi Tian chose for hunting beasts was the fallen leaf forest. There is a gathering place for warriors outside the fallen leaf forest, where many warriors exchange supplies and rest. Boy, as long as you give 1,000 yuan coins, you can join my team. I promise that you can come back with a lot of harvests. What do you think? A scarred man in the crowd saw the handsome Yi Tian, and his cloudy eyes suddenly lit up as if they were powered on by a light bulb. He swallowed his saliva, pretended to be calm and walked in front of Yi Tian, patting his chest to assure. Sorry, I don't have money, I'll go in alone. Yi Tian replied politely. This way of paying to join a team is very common in the deciduous forest. Many newcomers will choose this method when they first enter the wild to hunt exotic animals. There is strength in numbers, and the others are old birds with rich experience, so it will naturally be much safer. However, everything has 2 sides. Unless you join a familiar team, if you rashly join an unfamiliar team, there is a high probability that you will be eaten up by the other party. People's hearts are separated by their stomachs. In the wild, it is often not the exotic animals that are dangerous, but humans. Yi Tian remembered that the beautiful head teacher Lu Wanqing had said this to them. So Yi Tian did not plan to join the team, and he did not have enough money on him. Not even 1,000 yuan. Hearing this, the scarred man froze for a moment, and couldn't understand why Yi Tian, who was so handsome, was short of money. Shouldn't he have added a large sum of money long ago? But his original intention was not for money, otherwise he wouldn't have offered such a low price. Boy, you are a student, and I am also a kind-hearted person. How about this, you give 500 yuan, no, you only need to give 300 yuan, and our team will take you along. Fearing that Yi Tian didn't have 500 yuan, the scarred man immediately retracted 2 of the 5 fingers he stretched out. No, thank you. Seeing that the other party continued to pester him and took the initiative to lower the price, Yi Tian keenly noticed that something was wrong. He didn't believe that pie in the sky would fall, unless it was deliberately done. Obviously, this guy had bad intentions for him. He carefully examined the other party, and soon saw the greed and desire that could not be suppressed from the other party's eyes that he tried hard to hide. He had seen this kind of greed and desire in the eyes of many female warriors and beautiful women in society. But at least they were all women, and pretty women at that. He didn't like making things even more difficult. He felt sick. Yi Tian immediately quickened his pace and left here, found a random position, and went into the woods. Haha, kid, do you think you can run away? When the time comes, I will definitely make you full of harvest, ha ha ha. Looking at the direction where Yi Tian disappeared, the scarred man grinned with a greedy evil smile, and then quickly followed. Seeing the scarred man suddenly enter the forest. Not far away, a young man in his team said puzzledly, "Why did Lao Si go in alone? We haven't rested yet." Someone next to the young man said, "Didn't you see Lao Si staring at that handsome boy? Nima, how can there be such a handsome man in the world? Fortunately, I don't have Lao Si's hobbies. Boss, why don't I follow him and see? I'm a little worried about Lao Si following alone." A woman in her 30s, wearing a black leather jacket, noticed Yi Tian's appearance and said insincerely. The man called the boss laughed and joked, "Third sister, are you worried about the fourth brother? I think you are attracted to that boy, right? Okay, we'll wait for the fifth brother to recover from his injuries. You go. Remember, don't leave anyone alive after playing. Don't worry, boss. I know the rules. Hee, I didn't expect that I could meet such a handsome boy with my ruthless hands. This time I'll have fun. I hope that guy Wu will catch up with him slowly and don't take my virginity." Seeing the boss agreed, the woman in black leather licked her rosy tongue, and a smile of expectation appeared on her medium-sized face. Immediately, she urged her body skills and quickly caught up. She had seen countless men and practiced a secret technique that could tell whether a man was a circa. She saw Yi Tian's background at a glance, and she was so happy. God really loves me for being ruthless. In the forest, Yi Tian found someone following him after going hundreds of meters deep. Is it that scarred man? He really has intentions towards me. Yi Tian turned around and noticed the scarred man rushing towards him without any cover. He had an idea, and the next second he quickly hid in a lush vine not far away, hiding his figure. Swish. Soon, the scarred man arrived in front of the vines and laughed sarcastically. "Boy, do you think I don't know that you hid in the vines? I advise you to take the initiative to come out and let me have fun. Otherwise, humph, I will make you suffer." The scarred man drew out the broadsword behind him while speaking, and approached the vines step by step. He had the cultivation of the third-level warrior realm, and did not take Yi Tian seriously. In his eyes, Yi Tian was just a young boy. What strength could he have? Otherwise, how could he be caught up by him? The scarred man did not know that Yi Tian deliberately entered the vines, not to hide in them. After entering the vines, Yi Tian took advantage of the time when the vines blocked the scarred man's sight and quietly went around from the other side of the vines to behind the scarred man. Clang! The beginner's long sword was unsheathed, turned into a black sword light, and fiercely chopped at the scarred man's head. The sword energy caused the air to whistle, and was noticed by the scarred man. A flash of surprise flashed in his eyes. He never thought that Yi Tian, a young boy in his eyes, could come up with such a strategy of diverting attention plus sneak attack in such a short time. He instinctively turned around and used the broadsword in his hand to meet the attack. But Yi Tian's strength was only one small realm lower than his, and he also used the basic martial arts of Dacheng, the Dilang sword method, and it was still a sneak attack. Even if the scarred man tried to block, he only chopped the edge of Yi Tian's long sword. The position of Yi Tian's long sword chopped changed from the scarred man's head to his shoulder. The primary weapon can even break the flesh of the second-level monster. It is very sharp, and the scarred man is only wearing a basic combat uniform with limited defense. With a swish, the long sword cut off the scarred man's shoulder and his entire left hand. "Ah, it hurts. Boy, I'm going to kill you." "Boy, you can't kill me. My boss is a level 5 warrior, and he will be here soon. If you dare to kill me, you will be hunted down by my boss to death." The left arm was chopped off, and the severe pain made the scarred man roar in pain. This also made him extremely angry, and he said harsh words to Yi Tian. But before he finished his words, he saw that after Yi Tian succeeded in one strike, he did not delay at all and urged the sword technique to chop him again. The scarred man who lost an arm lost most of his fighting power in an instant, and the hot blood on his left arm wound kept oozing out, making his body weak and his head dizzy. Realizing that he was no longer Yi Tian's opponent, the scarred man hurriedly changed his words, trying to scare Yi Tian away. Haha, then I'll wait, but you dare to hit me, then you die. Yi Tian was not scared, and he also knew the principle of letting the tiger go back to the mountain. He immediately urged the basic footwork, came in front of the scarred man, and picked up the broadsword that the scarred man blocked with a knife. Immediately, Yi Tian's long knife slashed diagonally, cutting off the scarred man's head and most of his right shoulder. The second killing. Yi Tian no longer felt the discomfort before, but was very excited. Because he could loot. I guess a level 3 warrior will have a lot of good things on him. Soon Yi Tian found out the things on the scarred man. A primary broadsword, 2 low-grade yuanxi, several primary detoxification pills, poison avoidance pills, and muscle growth pills. Some food and water, and a primary body movement martial arts, spiritual sparrow step. Yi Tian found this martial arts from the scarred man's arms. Apparently, the scarred man got this martial arts not long ago and has not yet learned it, so he has been carrying it with him to learn. Otherwise, few people would bring martial arts with them when they go out. These gains made Yi Tian very satisfied. The broadsword alone is worth more than 20,000 yuan coins, and 2 low-grade yuan stones are also worth 20,000 yuan coins. Several primary pills are also useful to him. Of course, the most important thing is this primary body movement martial arts. In the wild, you are not afraid of encountering a strong enemy, but you are afraid of not being able to beat the opponent and not being able to run away from the opponent. That's really a cry to the sky and the earth for no response. Old 4. Boy, you actually killed Old 4. I will make you die of exhaustion. At this time, the black leather jacket woman who followed caught up with him. When she saw the scarred man who was dead, her eyes flashed with surprise, and then her face was filled with anger. She immediately attacked and killed Yi Tian. The weapon of the woman in black leather was a long black whip. I don't know what material this whip is made of, but it is very tough. Yi Tian immediately blocked it with a long knife. Bang! The sharp long knife that could originally cut the second-level beast did not cut off the whip. Level 4 warrior, the primary whip method and the primary whip weapon of the great success level. It seems that I am not the opponent, and I can only run away. Yi Tian is very self-aware, knowing that he is not the opponent of this woman. He kicked the body of the scarred man towards the black leather woman, and then turned and ran deep into the forest. Boy, you can't run away. With a snap, the leather woman did not care about the body of the scarred man, and directly whipped the flying body of the scarred man in half with a whip, and then immediately urged the small success of the spiritual sparrow step to chase after him. No way, is this woman so cruel? She actually did such a cruel thing to the body of her companion. I must not be caught by her, otherwise it will be miserable. Looking back and seeing the scene of the black-clothed woman swinging the whip to chop off the body of the scarred man, and thinking of the other party's eyes that wanted to swallow him, Yi Tian felt his brothers chilled. System: use yuanxi to recharge, and then practice spiritual bird step. Okay host, get 200 points of wealth. Ding! Consume 160 points of wealth, practice spiritual bird step to great success. In an instant, a large amount of memories of practicing spiritual bird step merged into Yi Tian's mind. Yi Tian's heart moved, and the vitality in his body quickly circulated according to the operation path of spiritual bird step. Swish! His speed increased a lot at once, and he also left the black leather jacket woman far behind. Although the black leather jacket woman's cultivation level was 2 small realms higher than Yi Tian, she only practiced spiritual bird step to small success, making her speed much slower than Yi Tian, that is, her endurance was much stronger than Yi Tian. However, the deciduous forest, with dense trees and lush branches and leaves, can completely escape the opponent's sight as long as they are about 100 meters apart. Kid, how can he also practice spiritual bird step and practice it to great success? Seeing Yi Tian's speed increase a lot in an instant, just like riding a car, and realizing that she could no longer catch up with him, the black leather jacket woman angrily whipped the 4 directions with a whip. The whip wrapped with vitality was like a sharp blade, and soon split the surrounding trees in half. But boy, do you think you can run away like this? Second brother's little cutie is the best at tracking. When the time comes, I will definitely treat you as a big treasure and swallow you whole. After saying this, the black leather jacket woman licked her rosy tongue, as if she had eaten something very delicious, with a lewd and satisfied smile on her face. Brother Pig, don't be so impulsive. I just killed one of your sons. Why did the whole family go out to kill me? Is it that serious? In a dense forest with a stinky smell. Looking at the 3 tusk wild boars of level 1 and 2 in front of him, Yi Tian's mouth curled up with a smile. It's all money. After getting rid of the pursuit of the black leather jacket woman, Yi Tian came here. He happened to meet a level 9 tusk wild boar that was digging a cabbage-shaped plant. Seeing that the other party was so weak, he did not intend to attack. He was no longer an ordinary person. But Yi Tian did not expect that he had given up killing the other party. When the level 9 tusk wild boar saw him, it did not even dig up the cabbage. Instead, it lowered its head and stabbed him with a pair of half-foot-long tusks on its head. Can Yi Tian bear this? Even if my uncle can bear it, my sister-in-law can't bear it. Cut it with a knife. Yi Tian easily harvested the valuable materials and a portion of blood essence from the tusk wild boar. It's a pity that he didn't have a space ring, otherwise he could take the meat of the tusk wild boar back and sell it for some money. But just after Yi Tian killed the tusk wild boar, the smell of blood attracted the attention of the tusk wild boars in the family, and they rushed over and surrounded him. The leader was a tusked boar as big as a half-grown domestic pig. It roared, bursting with vitality and energy, and rushed towards Yi Tian violently. Looking for death. After mastering the first-level physical skill, Spiritual Sparrow Step, Yi Tian's combat power increased a lot again. In addition, he was facing an opponent of the same level, so he easily avoided the attack of the tusked boar. Immediately, he slashed with a knife. With a swish, he easily cut off the head of the tusked boar. Seeing the head of the family being killed, the remaining 2 tusked boars suddenly had red eyes, roared, and rushed towards Yi Tian together. Seeing this, Yi Tian urged his physical skills to avoid. Then he slashed with 2 knives. Yi Tian kindly sent the 2 tusked boars to meet their old pig husband and pig father. A family of pigs should be complete. Next is Yi Tian's favorite part of counting the spoils. 3 bean-sized beast cores. 3 balls of quail egg-sized blood essence. 3 pairs of sharp and hard fangs. And a bunch of other valuable materials. Yi Tian is very satisfied with this harvest. System, exchange the 3 beast cores for wealth points, and then improve my strength. Yi Tian is ready to improve his strength. The level 2 warrior's cultivation is still too weak here. For example, the black leather-clad woman who chased him before. If his strength is the same as the other party, he doesn't have to run away at all. Instead, he can squeeze the other party hard. Let the woman know that chasing him will pay the heavy price of being whipped. Ding. Get 300 points of wealth points. Ding. Consume 200 points of wealth points. Congratulations to the host for upgrading his cultivation to level 3 warrior. As soon as the voice fell, Yi Tian found that there was another spiral arm on the cyclone in his dantian. Once you reach 10 spiral arms, you will be a level 10 warrior, which is also the perfection of the warrior realm, and you can impact the martial arts master realm. Yi Tian noticed the wealth column at this time. Wealth. 140 points. A plus sign was also displayed behind each martial art in the martial arts column. After thinking about it, Yi Tian consumed 120 points of wealth and upgraded the Spirit Bird Step to perfection. The perfect level of the Spirit Bird Step made him much faster and made Yi Tian feel safe. Looking at the attribute panel, the information on it had changed a lot. Host. Yi Tian. Strength. Level 3 warrior. Skills. Yuan Qi attraction technique, great success. Martial arts. Dilang sword technique beginner, great success. Spirit bird step beginner, perfect basic boxing technique, great success. Basic footwork, great success. Weapons. Beginner long sword, beginner broad sword. Wealth. 20. Taking the harvest, Yi Tian quickly left the dense forest with a stinking smell. He walked a distance, and suddenly 2 young men came towards him in the woods ahead. The 2 of them glanced at Yi Tian, and when they saw Yi Tian's appearance clearly, their eyes suddenly lit up. The young man in the basic green combat uniform said, "It's this guy. Let's take him down together." The young man in the blue basic combat uniform nodded and said, "Well, I didn't expect that we 2 brothers were so lucky." We can get 20,000 yuan coins immediately. Yes, he is just a level 2 warrior. It's so easy to make this money. Both of them used long swords as weapons. The vitality on their bodies was activated, revealing that they were all level 3 warriors. They obviously practiced body skills, and their speed was not slow. They killed Yi Tian from the left and the right. Facing the sudden attack of the two, Yi Tian decisively activated the spirit bird step. The long sword in his hand swung out the first style of the Dilang sword technique, and the waves surged. With the perfect spirit bird step, Yi Tian's speed was not comparable to the two. Very quickly, the young man in the green basic combat uniform was cut by Yi Tian on the chest because he could not dodge in time. A wound more than 1 foot long and deep to the bone was cut. The internal organs of the young man were also cut open, and blood gushed out. He kept taking healing pills and hemostatic pills, but he still couldn't stop the blood from gushing out. How can you be so strong? But a few breaths later, the young man died of excessive blood loss. The only thing he couldn't understand before his death was Yi Tian's cultivation, which was higher than the information he saw. When the other young man saw this scene, his dark face turned pale with fear. The young man knew that he was no match for Yi Tian, so he turned around decisively and rushed into the dense forest quickly, trying to escape from here. You can't run away. Yi Tian smiled coldly and immediately urged the spirit bird step to chase him quickly. He was very fast and caught up with the young man in a few breaths. However, Yi Tian did not kill him immediately, but cut off one of the young man's arms with a knife, causing the opponent's combat power to drop rapidly. After the young man in the blue basic combat uniform lost an arm, he completely became a fish on Yi Tian's chopping board. Please don't kill me, I have money, I will give you all the money on me, and all the exotic beast materials. Hee, are you mentally ill? After I kill you, won't all the money on you belong to me? Tell me, why did you attack me as soon as you saw me? Yi Tian asked, which puzzled him. He had a good memory and didn't offend these two people. Seeing this, the young man carefully tested. Little brother, no, big brother, father, can you spare my life after I tell you? I was also blinded by money for a while, so I attacked you. Don't talk nonsense, tell me quickly, or I'll let you experience why pigs scream like pigs before they die. Yi Tian put the long knife on the man's neck and smiled coldly. Let this guy go. How is it possible? Since this man attacked him, how can he repay evil with virtue? Repay evil with virtue. How to repay virtue? I'll say it now, it's the boss of the Black Knife Beast Hunting Team, the Black Boss, who issued a bounty order for you, saying that you killed Wu Laoci of their team, so he wants to kill you for revenge. Anyone who can give you information or capture you alive and hand you over to them will get a reward. Brother, since I didn't hurt you, just treat me like a fart. The young man didn't dare to hide anything in front of his life, and confessed without taking a breath. Yi Tian continued to ask some questions and soon had a general understanding of the Black Knife Beast Hunting Team. There are 5 people in this team. The boss is called Black Boss. As for what his original name is, no one knows. He has always called himself Black Boss. This man is a level 5 warrior. His weapon is a primary black knife, and he also masters a perfect primary sword martial arts and a perfect primary body martial arts. His combat power can compete with ordinary level 7 warriors. He is not weak. There are 4 people left, the second one is called Sun Lauer, a level 4 warrior. But this guy's most powerful method is to raise insects. His tracking insects can search for targets by smell. So generally people who offend them and are not as strong as them will be found and killed by them. From the young man, after Yi Tian learned that the other party did not find him through the tracking bug, he posted a bounty for him at the gathering place outside. As for why the other party did not find his whereabouts, Yi Tian could guess. He was also somewhat grateful for the dense forest with a stinking smell just now. It must be that the stench there covered the smell on his body, so he was not tracked by the other party's tracking bug. There were 3 people left, 2 of whom Yi Tian had seen. One was the black leather-clad woman who was chasing her, Zhao Sanmei, a 4th-level warrior. One was Wu Laoci who was killed by him, and the other was Yu Laowu, a 2nd-level warrior. The other 3 are not a big threat to me, the main threat is still that Black Boss. A 5th-level warrior with 2 perfect primary martial arts. If I meet him, I can't run away. I must improve my strength before they find me, and the practice of the dealing swordsmanship must also be improved. Immediately, Yi Tian killed the young man with a clean and tidy knife. Since this man has made a move on him, he should be prepared to be killed by him. The bounty is not so easy to get. It's time to plunder again. Yi Tian happily counted the spoils of this battle, and the harvest was not bad. He got 2 low-grade yuanxi from the 2 people. They should be carrying them to replenish the consumed vitality. In addition, there are some basic primary detoxification pills, hemostatic pills and healing pills. Some food and water, the weapons of the 2, and the materials of the exotic beasts, including 2 beast cores and 2 balls of blood essence. They are all valuable things. Yi Tian put them all on himself. Looking at the pile of things on his body, Yi Tian smiled bitterly. It would be great if I had a space ring. No wonder they say that space rings are a must-have artifact for traveling. But when he thought of the price of the space ring, Yi Tian shook his head. He doesn't deserve it. Yi Tian recharged the yuanxi and beast cores, and only got 300 wealth points this time. It was probably because the beast core was too low and part of the energy in the yuanxi was used up. But Yi Tian didn't care, as long as it was valuable. Yi Tian immediately used 200 points of wealth to upgrade his cultivation to a level 4 warrior. The remaining wealth was just enough to improve the dealing swordsmanship to perfection. In this way, Yi Tian's strength was improved again. With my current strength, I can't beat that black boss. I think I can escape unscathed if I meet him. Yi Tian thought. He and the black boss both mastered perfect body skills, and he just didn't have as much energy as the other party. But this is a mountain forest with dense trees. As long as he makes good use of the terrain, he still has a high chance of not being able to beat the other party and running away. But I just need to hunt a few more strange beasts and improve my cultivation. What does the black boss, a mere level 5 warrior, count for? Seeing that it was dark, Yi Tian thought about it and returned to the territory of the tusk boar again. Although it smells bad here, there is no need to worry about being tracked by the black boss and others. Roar, roar, roar. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Cack, clack. When the night falls, the roars of various strange beasts sound in the deciduous forest, as if announcing their presence. Yi Tian ignored these and lay in a big tree hole. After dinner, he closed his eyes and rested. A day of fighting consumed a lot of his energy and he needed to recover urgently. No words for the whole night. After the sun rose the next day, Yi Tian opened his eyes. He felt comfortable and energetic. Another perfect day, let's go hunting. At this time, in a tent where warriors gathered outside the forest. Boss, I haven't seen that kid come out all night. Will he die in the forest? After all, that kid is only a level 2 warrior. Yu Laowu said worriedly. He Leota shook his head and said, not necessarily. That kid can cross the level and kill Lao Si, which shows that he is not an easy person to deal with. Lao is your tracking bug still not moving at all? Sun Lao held a transparent and breathable box in his hand. There was a black bug the size of a broad bean lying inside. The black bug had 2 antennae on its head, which could sense the smell, but it was motionless at the moment. Sun Lao shook his head and said, Boss, I am only a first-level tracking bug, and the distance of the smell I can find is limited. If it is covered by other strong smells, I cannot track the other party. And that kid has killed Lao Si for so long, and the smell of Lao Si remaining on him is constantly dissipating, so it will be more and more difficult to find him. At this time, Zhao Sanmei on the side suggested, Boss, should we increase the reward? When she thought of Yi Tian's handsome face and young body, she was very eager. Last night she dreamed of a crazy battle between the other party and herself, and when she woke up, she found that she was like a dam bursting, and now she was very uncomfortable. She wanted to find Yi Tian immediately and let him fill her empty and lonely body. So she didn't want to let Yi Tian go. The black boss thought for a moment and looked at Lao Wu and said, that kid killed Lao Si, so I will not spare him. To prevent any changes, Lao Wu, you stay here to recover. Lao and Lao San and I will go to the forest to find the whereabouts of that kid. Lao Wu nodded and said, Boss, don't worry. It's safe here. I will be fine, and my injuries are almost healed. Okay, Lao Sanmei, let's go. We must find him this time. The black boss took his big black knife and vowed. Last time, he only asked Lauer to search in the forest, but he didn't find him. This time, the three of them acted together. He believed that as long as the kid was not dead, they would definitely find him. Didn't they find and kill those who offended them in the past? This time would be no exception. Where is this place? Why is it so quiet? At this moment, Yi Tian came to a dense forest. Yi Tian thought he could kill a few beasts quickly, gain wealth points and improve his strength, but he found that he only found a few first-level beasts after searching for a long time. Although he got some beast materials, the first-level beasts did not have beast cores, so he could not get wealth points. He did not encounter any second-level beasts. Walking, Yi Tian came to this dense forest and found that the surroundings were very quiet. From the location, it did not go deep into the deciduous forest, which means that there would not be too powerful beasts here. The beautiful class teacher Lu Wanqing said in class that some powerful beasts have territorial awareness and will not let other beasts enter their territory without permission. So when you encounter such quiet forests, caves, etc. in the wild, you must be careful. Because you may have entered the territory of a powerful beast. However, the strength of such beasts is mostly at the 4th level, comparable to the human martial arts masters. Yi Tian does not believe that there will be beasts of this level here. Run, the bloodthirsty spider is chasing us. At this moment, a group of people suddenly rushed out of the forest in front. This group of people included both men and women, most of them were injured. Some had blood oozing out of their bodies, and some were missing arms and legs. Yi Tian saw a big brother who had lost a leg jumping out. Brother, what's going on inside? Seeing the people running over, Yi Tian stopped one person and asked. The man pushed Yi Tian away and said angrily, "Boy, if you want to die, don't drag me along. The people of the 3rd and 9th squads of the Mad Blade can't deal with that bloodthirsty spider. Don't delay my escape time." The 3rd and 9th squads of the Mad Blade, the Wu family's hunting squad. Hearing the word, Mad Blade, Yi Tian's heart was shocked. There are 4 major forces in Ancheng City, managing everything in Ancheng. These 4 major forces are the City Lord's Mansion in the east of the city, the Thunder Martial Arts Hall in the west of the city, the Wu family in the south of the city, and the City Defense Army in the north of the city. Among the 4 major forces, the City Lord's Mansion and the City Defense Army are official forces, responsible for managing Ancheng City and protecting the safety of Ancheng City. The Thunder Martial Arts School and the Wu family are private family forces. Although they are not as strong as the City Lord's Mansion and the City Defense Army, they are equally strong. Because there are 8th-level martial kings in these 2 forces, and there are more than one martial king in these families. The Wu family's industries are all over Ancheng City, and the most famous of them are the 3 beast hunting teams under its command. They are named Crazy Blade, Giant Sword, and Heavy Axe respectively. Each team is further divided into 4 levels: 3rd class, 2nd class, 1st class, and top level. Even if it is only the lowest 3rd class team, the members are all warriors above level 6, and the captain is a warrior of level 9 or even 10. Such a team can't even take down a bloodthirsty spider. How strong is that bloodthirsty spider? I shouldn't have coveted that blood jade grass, and I lost an arm. Wouldn't I become a one-armed hero in the future? 2 warriors of the 9th team of the 3rd class Crazy Blade died. It is a blessing in disguise that we can escape alive. The bloodthirsty spiders of the 2nd level, level 10, almost stepping into the 3rd level are really too powerful. Fortunately, the people of the 9th team, including Kwang Dao-san, attracted their hatred, so we were able to escape. Seeing that the bloodthirsty spiders did not chase them, the people who were running breathed a sigh of relief and started talking to each other. Yi Tian also learned what he wanted to know from their conversation. No wonder it's so quiet here. It turns out that there is a bloodthirsty spider that is almost stepping into the 3rd level. It is estimated that this dense forest is the hunting ground of that strange beast, which makes other strange beasts dare not come in, so it is so quiet. But the beast core of the 2nd level 10 strange beast and the blood jade grass are all good things. If I can get them, I will take off immediately. Thinking of this, Yi Tian thought about it for a while. He rushed to the direction where everyone fled. This bloodthirsty spider is obviously only 1 level higher than me. How can it be so much stronger than me? Even the 5 people in our team can't beat it together. In a dense forest, Ma Sanyuan, the captain of the 9th squad of the Mad Blade Class 3, and 2 of his teammates were running wildly. Behind them was a blood-red spider the size of an adult cow, chasing them at high speed. Captain, why don't we run separately? This way we will have a better chance of escaping. A level 7 warrior with a broken arm complained. Another team member whose shoulder was pierced and bleeding also nodded and agreed. Yes, Captain, if we run separately, this beast can only chase one of us. In this way, at least 2 people in our team can escape. If we run together, we will be caught up by this beast sooner or later and all killed. Seeing the 2 team members who wanted to leave him, Ma Sanyuan's face suddenly changed, and he said sinisterly, "You want to separate, right? Well, I will help you, all of you go to hell." As he spoke, Ma Sanyuan grabbed a team member with one hand and threw him directly at the bloodthirsty spider behind him. Of course, he knew that it would be wiser to run separately. But the hatred of this bloodthirsty spider was mainly caused by him. If they ran separately, the person most likely to be chased by this beast would also be him. That's why he pulled the 2 teammates to his side, just to prevent someone from being caught by the bloodthirsty spider. Seeing that both of them wanted to avoid him at this moment, he killed them without hesitation. "Captain, you are so cruel. Ma Sanyuan, you beast, I will not let you go even if I become a ghost." The 2 were already injured, and suddenly Ma Sanyuan, who was much more powerful than them, threw them towards the bloodthirsty spider. Their bodies were in midair, so they had no ability to dodge. Puff! One team member was pierced through the chest by the bloodthirsty spider's sharp feet, and then thrown into its mouth, and was bitten into a pulp in a few bites. Sizzle! Another was torn in half by the 2 front legs of the bloodthirsty spider, and blood was spilled in the air. Ma Sanyuan wanted to use his 2 teammates to buy himself some time. He didn't expect that his 2 teammates would be killed so easily by the bloodthirsty spider, and the taste of blood and flesh aroused the bloodthirsty spider's hunting heart. Whoosh! 2 blood-colored spider threads suddenly shot out of the bloodthirsty spider's mouth. Like a sniper bullet out of the chamber, it shot towards Ma Sanyuan at high speed. Ma Sanyuan has the cultivation of a 9th-level warrior, and he also masters a perfect body movement martial arts. His speed is not slow. But this speed was quickly caught up by the bloodthirsty spider's attack. Ma Sanyuan dodged to the side immediately. He successfully dodged the attack of one spider thread, but another spider thread hit his arm and knocked him out fiercely. If Ma Sanyuan had not been wearing a primary combat uniform and his body was not weak, his entire arm would have been pierced by the spider thread. After being knocked out, Ma Sanyuan's body fell heavily to the ground. He endured the pain and quickly got up, wanting to escape again. But at this time, the bloodthirsty spider had used this time to catch up. "Beast, do you really think I can't do anything to you? I just don't want to fight to the death. Since you insist on killing me, I will make you suffer even if I die." Seeing that the bloodthirsty spider was only a few meters away from him, Ma Sanyuan knew that he could not run away this time, and he had the idea of fighting to the death. Having fought with strange beasts for many years, he knew that often in the most dangerous time, only a desperate fight can win a glimmer of hope. Okay, you guys fight, I'll go pick that blood jade grass." On a big tree, Yi Tian saw Ma Sanyuan being chased by the bloodthirsty spider in the distance and smiled slightly. He immediately turned around and rushed towards the bloodthirsty spider's nest. During this period, he had learned the location of the bloodthirsty spider's nest from some escaped warriors. Worried that other people had the same idea as him, Yi Tian pushed the spirit bird step to the extreme. Not long after, Yi Tian passed through a patch of woods and came to a forest covered with spider webs. Chapter 11. This forest is full of blood-colored spider webs. Many spider webs have been destroyed, and some are intact, with dead beasts and humans hanging on them. In the innermost part of the forest is the largest blood-red spider web. The diameter is no less than 30 meters, connected to dozens of large trees, covering a small world. Under the largest spider web, there is a foot-high, blood-red herb. This herb is the quasi-intermediate level Yuanyao blood jade grass. This Yuanyao contains pure blood energy, has a strong strengthening effect on the body, and is very valuable. Seeing this Yuanyao, Yi Tian smiled happily. I guess the system can also use yuanyao to recharge wealth value. After all, yuanyao contains energy inside, which meets the recharge conditions of the system. I just don't know how much wealth value this blood jade grass can recharge. Yi Tian is looking forward to it. He is worried that something will happen if he delays, so he quickly rushes to the blood jade grass. Stop, kid, or we will kill you. Just when Yi Tian was about to succeed, several figures rushed in from outside the forest. These people all carried broadswords on their backs and wore uniform clothes of the same color and style. The words, broadsword, were embroidered on their chests, with 3 horizontal bars below and a number 10 next to them. Those who are familiar with the Wu family will know that these are members of the Broadsword 3rd Class 10th team among the 3 major hunting teams of the Wu family. Yi Tian frowned. He didn't expect that his worries would come true, and it was the 3rd class hunting team of the Wu family. He was no match for any of them. But Yi Tian did not have no chance at all. His chance was the blood jade grass. As long as he recharged the blood jade grass and improved his strength, he might not be unable to escape. As for really stopping, Yi Tian did not believe that these people would let him go. The reputation of the Wu family hunting team was not very good. They relied on the support of the Wu family behind them, and often oppressed and killed other warriors and robbed other people of their resources. Just like now, if these people fought with him for the blood jade grass, he would look up to them. But the other party threatened him. It can be seen how narrow-minded and overbearing this group of people are. Swish. Yi Tian pushed the spirit bird step to the extreme, and he quickly crossed the distance of more than 10 meters. He grabbed the blood jade grass and immediately fled into the depths of the dense forest. Boy, you are really tired of living for stealing my Wu family's yuan medicine. If you chase him, I will skin him alive. Seeing that Yi Tian dared to ignore his words, Zhang Heitao, the captain of the 10th Squadron of the Broadsword Class 3, was furious and took the lead to chase him. Not only the people of the 10th Squadron of the Broadsword Class 3 came to this dense forest, but also some other single warriors and people from the beast hunting team. That kid is only a level 4 warrior and dared to disobey the people of the 10th Squadron of the Broadsword Class 3. I'm afraid he's finished. Isn't it? Zhang Heitao is not a good person. That kid took the yuan medicine in front of him. I guess he will be tortured before he dies. Is this kid's brain sick? Do you think that a level 4 warrior is strong in the fallen leaf forest? That guy is so handsome, but he has to be skinned alive by Zhang Heitao and his men. It's such a pity. It would be great if he was cheap. At least I can die comfortably. Red Rose, don't be so coquettish. If you want it, how about I fight with you? Go away, Ding Laoci. With your appearance, the girls who spend money to go to Chunfeng Tower won't receive you, right? You still want to fight with me, you are beautiful. Don't delay, let's chase him together, maybe we have a chance to get the blood jade grass. Red Rose, you may also get what you want and taste the taste of that boy's brother. It will probably make you very happy. Seeing that everyone did not move, someone wanted to stir up trouble and reap the benefits, and encouraged him. Hearing this, everyone was a little moved, especially the hot Red Rose, whose eyes lit up, licked her lips and took the lead to chase. Seeing this, the others followed him by performing their body movements and martial arts. Swish. Yi Tian used his spirit bird step to run quickly in the forest. Seeing a large group of people chasing him from behind, he frowned, but he was not panicked at all. Yi Tian immediately asked the system to recharge the blood jade grass, and gained 1,000 wealth points at once. System, all my strength will be increased. Okay host, spend. The pleasant reminder sounded. The amount of vitality in Yi Tian's body increased greatly, and the spiral arms on the vitality cyclone suddenly increased from 4 to 9. His cultivation level also reached the 9th level of warrior. Such a cultivation level is not weaker than Zhang Heitao, the strongest among the people chasing him. With the same strength and perfect elementary body movement martial arts, Yi Tian was really relieved. In this way, Yi Tian ran in front, and Zhang Heitao and others chased behind. However, many people fell behind during the chase, and even Zhang Heitao's 4 teammates fell behind and could not catch up. At this time, Zhang Heitao also found something wrong with Yi Tian. Boy, you are a level 9 warrior, but you pretend to be a level 4 warrior. But do you think you can escape from my hands just because you are a level 9 warrior? Come and die. Zhang Heitao was not deterred by Yi Tian's improved strength. Instead, he used all his strength to stimulate the vitality in his body to promote his cultivation to the perfect elementary body movement martial arts. At the same time, he swung his broadsword and shot out sword energy at Yi Tian. With the spirit sparrow step, Yi Tian could successfully avoid Zhang Heitao's attack every time. The two chased and fled like this. Soon they left the others far behind. The people of the Wu family are amazing, right? I want to see how strong you are. Seeing that Zhang Heitao was the only one left behind, there was no need to worry about being surrounded by others, and Yi Tian finally stopped. As a level 9 warrior, he also wanted to fight with the other party to see who was stronger and who was weaker. Besides, he was chased by the other party so aggressively that even a clay man would be angry. Yi Tian slashed with a knife, and the knife energy broke through the air. Zhang Heitao was delighted when he saw that Yi Tian wanted to fight with him. He was a member of the Wu family, and he also practiced the intermediate level martial arts, Yellow Earth Secret, and his vitality was thick and pure. He just noticed the vitality on Yi Tian's body, which was very mixed and empty. It was obvious that the level of the martial arts he practiced would not be very high. So he was not afraid of Yi Tian fighting with him, but he was afraid that Yi Tian would keep running away. After all, he found that the martial arts that Yi Tian practiced were very flexible and suitable for running in the dense forest. But he practiced a martial arts that was good at straight-line pursuit and running. His martial arts were very limited in chasing others in the dense forest. Even if he practiced this elementary martial arts to perfection, he could only exert the power of great success at most. Bang bang bang. Zhang Heitao swung the palm-wide broadsword in his hand, and the yellow energy raged, blocking all of Yi Tian's attacks. Soon the two fought for more than 10 moves, and Yi Tian was at a disadvantage every time. Is it the difference in martial arts? Yi Tian was not stupid, and soon realized the reason why he couldn't beat the opponent. Although he and the opponent were both level 9 warriors, his energy was easily dispersed when it touched the opponent's energy. So he was restricted everywhere when fighting with Zhang Heitao. It was because of the flexibility advantage brought by the flexible spirit bird step that the opponent did not widen the gap between him and him. It seems that I need a high-level technique, otherwise it will be difficult for me to beat others of the same level. When Yi Tian thought that he was still practicing the most basic technique, he became eager to obtain a high-level technique. If he practiced a powerful technique, Zhang Heitao would not be his opponent. Because the system improves the cultivation level according to the practiced technique, the more powerful the practiced technique, the stronger the combat power of the same level will be, and naturally the more wealth value will be required. However, with the system, Yi Tian does not have to worry about not being able to practice a high-level technique. Zhang Heitao, your head will stay on your head first, and sooner or later I will come to collect it. Realizing that he was not Zhang Heitao's opponent, Yi Tian no longer wanted to continue fighting with him, and immediately turned around and urged the spirit bird step to leave. In fact, Yi Tian had long discovered that his body skills were very suitable for display in the mountains and forests. Because Zhang Heitao's body skills were of the type of running wild, the terrain of the mountains and forests greatly limited his speed. So Yi Tian knew that as long as he was determined to get rid of Zhang Heitao's pursuit, it would be easy to do it. In this way, Yi Tian's figure kept turning in the mountains and forests. Not long after, Zhang Heitao's figure could no longer be seen behind him. I guess Zhang Heitao will continue to chase me. I will go back to the city to solve the problem of the technique and then come back to settle accounts with him. Yi Tian no longer had the mind to continue hunting the beast. After identifying the direction, he ran away. What is this? Just after Yi Tian ran for a while, the scene in front of him suddenly became clear. A large number of trees were broken, and in the center lay a dead body, as well as a bloodthirsty spider with several broken legs and a deep wound on its chest, lying on the ground dying. No way, I came here after a lot of twists and turns, and it seems that I can still be a fisherman. Thinking of this, Yi Tian's face was full of excitement. His luck was really good. Sure enough, handsome men are not too unlucky. Looking at the spoils on the ground, Yi Tian laughed and rushed over quickly. Grandpa is here. Yi Tian first came to the bloodthirsty spider. This strange beast, which had half a foot in the third level, was seriously injured at this time, and it was breathing in more than out. However, it was constantly emitting vitality fluctuations, and it was obviously repairing its injuries. Yi Tian would naturally not wait for it to recover. Die! Yi Tian waved his long knife and stabbed the huge wound on the chest of the bloodthirsty spider. The bloodthirsty spider saw Yi Tian's attack and knew it was very dangerous, so it quickly blocked it with its only 2 remaining leg thorns. Dang dang dang! The long knife and leg thorns collided with each other, making a sound of metal collision. Although the bloodthirsty spider was dying. But at the critical moment, it kicked out with all its strength and blocked all of Yi Tian's attacks. But Yi Tian was not worried. He continued to attack. He chopped one knife after another. The vitality bloomed, transformed into an amazing murderous intent. The bloodthirsty spider lost too much energy and strength, and was seriously injured. Soon, it was weakened by Yi Tian's attack. With a puff, as the knife successfully stabbed into the huge wound on the bloodthirsty spider's chest, Yi Tian urged the release of energy, and instantly shattered the bloodthirsty spider's internal organs, killing it completely. After killing the bloodthirsty spider, Yi Tian began to process the materials on this quasi-third-level monster. 8 leg thorns. Except for 2 intact ones, the rest were broken. But they were all 1 meter long and could be made into weapons, so they were not low in value. A ball of blood essence the size of a fist. A beast core the size of a quail egg. A blood-red spider thread sac the size of a basketball. And some other valuable materials. Looking at these things, Yi Tian felt a little overwhelmed. He could hardly carry them. But these were all good things, so he naturally couldn't give them up. So Yi Tian tied these things together with a rope and carried them on his back. As for the beast core of the bloodthirsty spider, Yi Tian chose to let the system recharge it. The bloodthirsty spider used up a lot of vitality during the battle, and its beast core only gained 700 points of wealth. Even so, it was a good harvest for Yi Tian. Then Yi Tian came to the dead body of Ma Sanyuan, the captain of the 9th squad of the 3rd class of the Mad Blade, and fumbled around on him. After a long time of groping, he didn't touch anything. Yi Tian was stunned. This guy is a level 9 warrior after all. He won't have anything valuable on him, right? Well, is this a space bag? At this moment, Yi Tian found a gray bag the size of a sachet from Ma Sanyuan's waist. At first, he didn't care about the bag, thinking it was just an accessory on Ma Sanyuan's body. But after a closer look, Yi Tian's pupils suddenly shrank. Then his face was full of ecstasy. Having taken treasure classes, Yi Tian knew that in addition to space equipment such as space rings, there are other space equipment in the world, such as space belts, space bracelets, etc., including space bags. Unlike space rings, space belts, and space bracelets, these space equipment are made of empty crystals and are very valuable. Space bags are made of exotic animal skins and space formations. Compared with the former, the space inside the space bag is relatively unstable and easily destroyed by external forces. However, the price of the space bag is only 1/5 of the former, so there are many audiences. After realizing that this is a space bag, Yi Tian immediately showed an excited smile. It's really a pillow when I'm sleepy. I just wanted a space ring and got a space bag. My luck is so good. Thinking of his good luck, Yi Tian even suspected that it was because he was too handsome that he was noticed by the beautiful goddess of luck in the sky and got the luck she gave him. If that's the case, I will definitely repay her well in the future. At least I have to make this beautiful goddess of luck full of harvest, happy and satisfied. Yi Tian smiled and said to himself. But this was just for his own amusement. Yi Tian immediately injected his vitality into the space bag, and soon a space of about 10 cubic meters appeared in his field of vision. There were some things in this space. 5 low-grade yuanxi. Some detoxification pills and anti-poison pills. Some clothes, food and water. Some exotic beast materials, including 4 beast cores of 2nd-level exotic beasts. There were not a lot of things, but the number of yuanxi was a little less, and there were no recovery pills. Thinking that the other party had a big battle with the bloodthirsty spider, these things were probably used up, and he was lucky to get 5 low-grade yuanxi. Yi Tian then recharged both the yuanxi and the beast core, and got 700 points of wealth. In this way, Yi Tian's wealth suddenly reached 1400 points. Yi Tian's expression suddenly changed. I have so much wealth now, I can definitely improve my cultivation to the martial arts master level. Although my cultivation method is not as good as Zhang Heidao, I can crush him with my realm. Yi Tian wanted to say. Others take revenge 10 years later. But he will take revenge immediately as long as the conditions allow. Zhang Heidao has been chasing me for so long, it's time to make him pay. System, all wealth points increase strength. Ding, consume 200 wealth points, the host's cultivation level is increased to level 10 warrior. Ding, consume 400 wealth points, the host's cultivation level is increased to level 1 martial artist. Ding, consume 400 wealth points, the host's cultivation level is increased to level 2 martial artist. Ding, consume 400 wealth points, the host's cultivation level is increased to level 3 martial artist. After a series of prompts, Yi Tian's cultivation level was greatly improved. The cyclone in his dantian has doubled in size and has become a large cyclone of vitality, with 3 cyclone arms on it. This is the level of a level 3 martial artist. Yi Tian's heart moved. The next second, a layer of vitality appeared on his body. He was like wearing a layer of gauze. This is the vitality gauze that only martial arts masters can use. It has a strong defensive power. Generally, only weapons of intermediate level or above can break this layer of defense. Even if facing the bullet of sniper rifle directly, it will not be broken. With this layer of vitality gauze, Yi Tian smiled calmly. How could Zhang Heidao be his opponent again? Yi Tian then quickly put the materials, body, bag, materials and weapons of the bloodthirsty spider into the space bag. Without these things, Yi Tian felt more relaxed. He found a direction, urged the spirit bird step, and rushed quickly. After reaching the martial arts master level, the amount of vitality that can be called each time is more, which also makes Yi Tian's speed faster, almost like a gust of wind. I actually let that kid run away, but if you dare to disobey me, Zhang Heidao, I will definitely catch you, and then let you live a life worse than death to vent my hatred. In a dense forest, Zhang Heidao was filled with anger, and the broadsword in his hand swept across. The sword energy was crisscrossed. A large number of trees were chopped into sawdust. Soon his teammates and some other warriors chased here. Seeing Zhang Heidao's furious look, these people guessed that Zhang Heidao had lost the person. Second brother, go to the gathering place to issue a wanted order. Anyone who catches that kid and hands him over to us, or tells us the whereabouts of that kid, can get the friendship of our broadsword 3rd class 10th squadron and a reward of 30,000 yuan coins. Zhang Heidao instructed a team member. After hearing this, the other party nodded and quickly rushed to the gathering place outside the mountain. When some other warriors heard this, many of them showed their intentions. However, some people shook their heads in their hearts and did not intend to get involved in this matter. Zhang Heidao couldn't do anything to that person. Their cultivation was not as good as Zhang Heidao, so how could they do anything to him? Some money can't be taken just because you want to. But they were all surprised that Yi Tian actually escaped from Zhang Heidao's hands. This is Zhang Heidao, a level 9 warrior. That kid doesn't seem to be simple, otherwise how could he make Zhang Heidao so angry and bleeding? It seems we have all made a mistake. Interesting boy, I am even more excited, I want him so much. Red Rose, how about I help you fill your stomach first? A big man looked at the woman not far away with a lustful look. Get out of here, you idiot, I will not let you get away even if I let that boy abuse you for free. Zhang Heidao, you don't need to issue a wanted order, I am the Emperor Yi Zatian. No one expected that at this moment. A figure rushed over quickly from a distance, accompanied by a loud and domineering voice that shook the mountains and forests. It's that boy, he actually came back on his own initiative. What was he thinking? Is there something wrong with his head? Some warriors looked puzzled when they saw Yi Tian suddenly return. If they escaped from Zhang Heidao, they would definitely find a place to hide. How could they be so stupid as to come back and die? So they thought Yi Tian was either mentally ill or had a hole in his head, but they were more surprised. Zhang Heidao just said that as long as they caught this kid or gave them clues about this kid, they would be given generous benefits. Now that this kid is here, they don't need to reveal his whereabouts. But they can catch this kid. Before, they were worried that they would not be Yi Tian's opponent if they fought alone. But now there are so many of them, and Zhang Heitao is here, it can be said that it is a business with no capital and no loss. Let's go together, catch this kid and give him to Captain Zhang, and we will share the benefits together. A warrior who was thinking about surviving in the crowd spoke first and encouraged everyone. Okay, let's do it together. Surround him first, don't let him run again. In front of the benefits that are within reach. The surrounding warriors chose to take action. This scene also made Zhang Heitao's mouth twitch constantly. Nima, this kid came to me on his own initiative, do I still want you to fight? I can't fight myself or what? Everyone, come together, don't let those people get ahead. The cooked duck has flown to his mouth, Zhang Heitao doesn't want to give benefits to others. After he gave an order, he urged his body movement martial arts and killed Yi Tian. Come on, today I, the Emperor Yi Zatian, will use your blood to open up my road to the Emperor. Seeing a group of warriors rushing over, Yi Tian was not panicked at all, but wanted to laugh. It was like seeing a lot of small money rushing towards him. How could he not be happy and want to laugh? You are so arrogant, and you still call yourself the Emperor. Even the martial emperors dare not call themselves the Emperor. What are you, a warrior, and how can you call yourself that? Yi Zatian, right. Today I will beat you so that you can't take care of yourself, and let you cover your bed for the rest of your life. Boy, after I take you down, I will see if you can make me feel great. If not, humph, I will make you die of exhaustion. Hearing Yi Tian's words, a group of warriors immediately became angry. They have seen people pretending, but they have never seen people pretending like this. The Great Emperor is a respectful title for the invincible warriors among the martial emperors. A warrior boy dared to call himself the Great Emperor in front of them, which was too arrogant. Such a person should be killed by them. Plum blossom sword technique. Powerful knife technique. Shaking and grabbing technique. A group of warriors urged their vitality and launched various vitality attacks, rushing towards Yi Tian like a tide. The intensive attacks were so powerful that even a level 10 warrior could not stop them. Many people felt that Yi Tian would definitely die when they saw this scene. But soon they showed a scene of extreme horror on their faces. Because they suddenly saw that a layer of white vitality gauze suddenly emerged from the body of this kid who was already a piece of meat on the chopping board in their eyes. That was a method that only martial arts masters could perform. Their attacks were like eggs hitting the wall in front of this seemingly thin gauze. Except for the sound of eggs breaking. There was nothing else. No, this kid is a martial arts master, we are not his opponent, run. This kid is so unkind, he is obviously a martial arts master, but he pretended to be chased by us and ran away, isn't he kidding us? I'm drunk, if you told me that you were a martial arts master, how dare we attack you, wouldn't we find a crack in the ground to hide ourselves? Seeing the vitality gauze dress blooming on Yi Tian. The warriors who were killing Yi Tian suddenly looked like they had lost their parents, their faces were extremely pale. They felt like they were riding a roller coaster, suddenly falling from a high place to the bottom of the valley. They immediately lost the intention to surround and kill Yi Tian, and they all urged their body movements and martial arts to escape. You wanted to kill me just now, and now you want to escape. What do you think of me? Can you bully me if you want to? All of you die. Yi Tian originally wanted to just kill the people of the 10th team including Broadsword 3. But he didn't expect these guys to take the initiative to attack him. Then he had no choice but to send these people to hell. Yi Tian admitted that he was not a bad person, but he was definitely not a saint or a good person. If someone attacked him, he had no reason to spare the other party. Swish, swish, swish. He used all his strength to activate the spirit bird step. Yi Tian quickly rushed to the front of the warriors one by one. The knife fell, the knife fell. Killed from east to west. Send the warriors to the underworld one by one. Without blinking an eye. This guy was clearly a level 9 warrior just now, how did he become a martial artist in such a short time? This is unscientific and unreasonable. Zhang Heitao, who was about to kill Yi Tian, was so scared that he trembled all over when he saw Yi Tian like the god of death, constantly harvesting the lives of warriors. At the same time, he couldn't understand why Yi Tian seemed to have changed into a different person in such a short time. But Zhang Heitao knew that if he continued to stay here, he would definitely die. Immediately, he turned around and ran. He didn't even say hello to his teammates. At this time, Zhang Heitao couldn't care about his teammates. And he thought that as long as he ran faster than his teammates could help him delay Yi Tian for a while. Give him more chances to live. In the face of great disaster. Only friends can die, not me. Brother, I am willing to give you everything you want, please spare my life, okay? I can do anything, I promise to satisfy you. The hot and red rose was frightened by Yi Tian's powerful appearance. She fell to the ground with her waist and knees limp, and hurriedly took out her greatest asset to beg for mercy. Puff, but what responded to her was Yi Tian's ruthless knife. What a coquettish and slutty, not only did she attack me, but she also wanted to touch my heart of Taoism. It's really not a pity to die. Soon Yi Tian killed the group of warriors who were killing him. At this time, he noticed Zhang Heitao and his group who were running away. These guys were smart and chose to run separately. However, in front of Yi Tian's speed, these people were caught up by him before they ran far, and then killed one by one. Zhang Heitao, didn't you want to skin me alive? Why are you running away now? With a swish, Yi Tian came in front of Zhang Heitao and blocked his way with a smile. Boy, I'm from the Wu family. You'd better not touch me, otherwise the Wu family will never let you go. You should know that as long as the Wu family wants to kill you, there will be no place for you to hide in the entire Ancheng city. Seeing his teammates dead and being chased, Zhang Heitao knew that he could not escape. He was moved and raised the banner of the Wu family again. Yes, the Wu family is indeed very strong, but you are just a level 9 warrior. If you die, you die. Do you think the Wu family will avenge you? Besides, everyone here is dead. Who would know that I killed you if I killed you? So, just accept your death calmly. Yi Tian knew that villains died because of talking too much, and he slashed at him while he was talking. Zhang Heitao was so angry that he wanted to curse. What does it mean to accept death calmly? Who can be calm in the face of death? Zhang Heitao immediately wanted to avoid Yi Tian's attack. But in front of Yi Tian now, his speed was too slow and there was no chance to dodge. With a swish, Zhang Heitao's head flew up, and hot blood gushed out like a pillar. Before he died, Zhang Heitao's eyes were wide open. There was reluctance, fear, but more of regret for chasing Yi Tian. His last thought before he died was, if he hadn't chased Yi Tian for the sake of Yuan Yao, would he not have to die? Unfortunately, there is no regret medicine in the world. After killing Zhang Heitao, Yi Tian began to search for spoils. This time he killed a group of warriors, and you can imagine how rich the spoils were this time. Not long after, a pile of things piled up in front of Yi Tian. Most of them were exotic beast materials. These exotic beast materials were obtained by Yi Tian from those who chased him, including 22nd level exotic beast cores. Yi Tian also obtained a lot of yuan shi, a total of 30 low-grade yuan shi. There are also dozens of pills of various uses. A pile of primary weapons. A pile of primary and basic combat uniforms. Some food, water and clothes. Of course, the biggest gain was what Yi Tian got from Zhang Heitao. A 10 cubic meter space bag. And a mid-level secret technique, hidden Qi Ju, for hiding breath found in Zhang Heitao's storage bag. It's a pity that I didn't get the other party's skills in martial arts, otherwise I would have made a lot of money. Yi Tian recharged the Yuanxi and Beast Core into wealth points, and suddenly gained 5,000 wealth points. This was the first time Yi Tian was so rich. System, practice the hidden Qi Ju. I think this kind of secret technique can be used to play the pig. No, the low-key secret technique is very suitable for me. Yi Tian liked it at first sight. Let the system improve the mastery. Ding, consume 50 points of wealth, practice the hidden Qi Ju to the entry level. Ding, consume 200 points of wealth, practice the hidden Qi Ju to perfection. A total of 500 points of wealth were spent, and Yi Tian had a lot of experience and insights in practicing the hidden Qi Ju in his mind. Instantly, he reached perfection in mastering this secret technique. With a thought in his heart, the breath on Yi Tian's body quickly disappeared. Unless he exposes himself, or someone with a much higher cultivation level than him, it is difficult to detect that he has concealed his aura. Yi Tian moved again. His aura was revealed a little more, maintaining the level of a level 2 warrior. It was the same as when he first entered the Fallen Leaf Forest. It's not that I want to play dumb, I just like to be low-key, and hope that because I am so low-key, some troubles will not run to me. Yi Tian said to himself sincerely. He immediately put all the spoils into the space bag, and then rushed to the gathering place outside the forest. Before, he saw Zhang Heitao asked a team member to go to the gathering place to issue a wanted order for him. He needed to get rid of the other party. Otherwise, once he was related to the people of the 10th team including Broadsword 3. When the people of the Wu family found out that Zhang Heitao and his group were dead, it would be easy to associate him with him. The Wu family is powerful. Yi Tian is not arrogant enough to think that he can compete with them. But Yi Tian will not be afraid of the other party, as long as he has enough time to develop. What is the Wu family in front of him? Only a level 8 martial king. I will become a king before the college entrance exam. A man who cheats should have such confidence. Swish. Li Fei rushed out of the forest quickly. He was a member of the 10th team of Broadsword 3. He was spared because he was assigned by Zhang Heitao to issue a wanted notice for Yi Tian. However, not long after he left, he heard the sound of warriors being scared and killed behind him. He subconsciously looked back and saw Yi Tian killing all the other warriors and all his teammates. He was so scared that his body trembled. He was also glad that he was assigned a task by the captain, otherwise he would have been one of the dead. Captain, you died tragically, but don't worry, I will publish the appearance of the murderer. Then the Wu family and the relatives of the killed warriors will avenge you. Worried about being caught by Yi Tian, Li Fei pushed his basic physical skills to the limit. He just hoped that he could get back to the gathering place outside as soon as possible. There were several hunting teams of the Wu family. He knew that he would only be safe if he returned there. It's not that the kid dared to kill me in public, right? You're right, I won't kill you in public, so I choose to kill you here. Just then, a loud voice came from behind Li Fei, with a mocking tone. Immediately, the figure quickly rushed in front of Li Fei and blocked his way. The figure was Yi Tian, who caught up. He was a level 3 martial artist, and he was still using the perfect elementary body movement martial arts. Li Fei was only a level 7 martial artist, and his elementary body movement martial arts had only been cultivated to a small degree, so his speed was far from being comparable to Yi Tian. Even though he left first, he was still caught up by Yi Tian. Seeing Yi Tian appear in front of him, Li Fei thought of his teammates who had been killed like chickens before. He was so scared that his legs trembled, and his running body was unstable, and he fell heavily to the ground. He hurriedly got up, drew out his broadsword and made a defensive posture, but he was obviously very scared. His legs trembled constantly, and the hand holding the sword was also shaking. Little boy, I don't know you, you stop me, what do you want to do, if it's a robbery? I only have 2 low-grade yuanxi on me, but I can give it to you. Li Fei's heart moved, pretending to treat Yi Tian as a robber. But the fear in his heart still made him stutter. Don't know me? Then why don't you take off the clothes of the 10th squad of the 3rd class of the broadsword? Do you think I'm blind? Or do you think I'm a fool? Forget it, I'm too lazy to talk to you, prepare to die. Yi Tian was too lazy to talk nonsense with him, just a level 7 warrior. He stepped on the spirit bird step and arrived in front of Li Fei in an instant. The knife fell with his hand. He solved the opponent neatly. You obviously have 5 pieces of low-grade yuanxi, but you still lied to me. Is there something wrong with your brain? Yi Tian searched 5 pieces of low-grade yuanxi, a 2nd-level beast core, and a broadsword from Li Fei. His primary combat uniform was intact. But there was no place to sell this standard clothing. Once it was sold, it would be targeted by the Wu family. However, Yi Tian still took off the combat uniform on Li Fei and threw it into the space bag. Although it was not easy to sell. But it was a primary combat uniform after all. If it was dismantled and sold as materials, it could also make some money. Poor family. I should understand the principle of using waste. After killing the last person of the 10th team of Broadsword 3, Yi Tian was relieved. No need to worry about being exposed to the eyes of the Wu family. Next, I will go back and buy a better method to practice, and it's time to change this long sword. After a big battle, there were many gaps on the long sword. Yi Tian knew that it was time for this sword to be scrapped. Fortunately, he gained a lot from this trip to the wild. There is no shortage of money to change a good sword. Boss, the tracking bug is moving, that guy is approaching us. In a dense forest, the tracking bug in the box in Sun Laor's hand suddenly moved, attracting his attention. He immediately told the good news to the black boss next to him. Approaching us, it seems that the boy has bad luck, and God has made him come here to die. The black boss rubbed the big black knife in his hand, and a ferocious smile appeared on his face. After searching for so long, he can finally avenge Lao Si. He can also establish his majesty in front of his teammates again. Boss, can you destroy his cultivation first, and then hand him over to me to deal with before killing him? You know, such a handsome boy is rare. Looking at the ferocious face of the black boss, Zhao Sanmei, the woman in black leather, was very worried that the black boss would kill Yi Tian without paying attention. She was already hungry and thirsty, and she didn't want the delicious food that was about to enter her mouth to suddenly disappear. Looking at Zhao Sanmei, who had a lewd smile on her face and licked her rosy tongue, the black boss suddenly raised his head to salute. His eyes suddenly flashed with the urge to press Zhao Sanmei, his teammate in front of him, under his body and knead her madly. Before, he recruited Zhao Sanmei to join his team because he was attracted by this woman's figure, seductive and charming expression and body movements. But he hinted to her many times but didn't get the result he wanted. He was also worried that if he forced it, it would make the team lose heart, so he didn't take action. But this time, the black boss felt that his chance had come. Sanmei, you said that I helped you to destroy that kid and let you deal with him as you like. How are you going to thank me? Being stared at by the black boss's eyes, especially the plump chest, Zhao Sanmei didn't know what the black boss meant. But when she thought about playing with Yi Tian, she forced a smile on her face, and pulled the black boss's arm and said charmingly, Boss, don't worry, as long as you satisfy me, I will make you satisfied once. Zhao Sanmei did not agree explicitly, thinking in her heart that after she was satisfied, the black boss could still force herself. It is estimated that several teammates would not agree. Okay, wait and see what I will do. I will definitely make you extremely satisfied and full of gains, but you have to save some energy to serve me. Thinking that Zhao Sanmei agreed, the black boss excitedly patted his chest to guarantee. Swish. At this time, Yi Tian came to the woods. Boss, it's this kid, take him down quickly. Seeing Yi Tian suddenly appear, the black leather jacket woman hurriedly said. No problem, kid, look at the knife. After getting the hint from the black leather jacket woman, the black boss urged his body movement martial arts. He immediately swung the big black knife to kill Yi Tian. Are you from the Black Knife Beast Hunter team? Seeing the woman in black leather and the name she gave to the man who was trying to kill him, Yi Tian understood the identities of these people. It's really a narrow road for enemies. I was thinking about how to find you, but I didn't expect you to come to my door. Then you all die. Looking at the black boss who was trying to kill him, Yi Tian didn't even use his weapon. He flashed in front of the black boss. Before the other party could react, his fist wrapped in vitality had already hit the black boss's chest. The vitality power of a martial artist is like a 10-ton hammer. It hit a person's chest at once. The power can be imagined, it is extremely terrible. With a bang, the chest of the black boss, who was wearing a primary combat uniform, was pierced by Yi Tian's fist in an instant, and his heart exploded and died. Aren't you a level 2 warrior? How can you be so strong? Looking at the black boss who was killed by a punch and died with his eyes wide open. The woman in black leather felt as if her head had turned into a paste. She was stunned. Before, Yi Tian was chased by her and escaped by relying on martial arts skills that were more mastered than hers. But how long has it been? How did Yi Tian's cultivation suddenly far exceed her imagination? Third sister, why are you still standing there? Run. Seeing the black boss who was killed by a punch, Sun Laor was also shocked. They thought they killed Yi Tian to avenge him, but they didn't expect that the end would be like this. But after realizing that it was not good, he quickly sobered himself up and pulled Zhao Sanmei to run. Ah, run, yes, let's run. The black leather-clad woman who had reacted knew that they were no match for Etienne. She didn't think about it anymore and turned around to escape from here. But they were only level 4 warriors, how could they escape from Etienne? Etienne moved his body. He came in front of the two. He killed Sun Lauer with one punch. Plop, little brother, please don't kill me. As long as you don't kill me, you can do whatever you want. I'll tell you quietly, I'm very good at verbal skills, and I guarantee you'll be happy. Realizing that she couldn't escape at all, Zhao Sanmei, the black leather-clad woman, was moved and knelt on the ground immediately. She ripped open her leather jacket cleanly and neatly, revealing the whole upper body. Especially the pile of fierce things was very eye-catching. As she spoke, she licked her lips with her rosy tongue, showing a shy posture. That look was as coquettish as it could be. Zhao Sanmei knew men very well. She knew what men liked most, especially this kind of young man who was still a virgin. It is absolutely impossible to escape from her eloquent tongue and leather pants. Puff. But Zhao Sanmei, the woman in black leather, obviously thought wrong. Yi Tian is not another man. He has seen countless beauties, and he also has no idea how many beauties have taken the initiative to discuss life philosophy with him. Compared with those beauties, Zhao Sanmei's appearance and figure are much worse. So, Yi Tian directly took out a long knife and wiped Zhao Sanmei's neck. He did not use his fist. He was afraid of dirtying his hands. After looting the valuable items from the 3 people, Yi Tian left here without looking back. The bodies of the 3 people were still warm. Let the monsters deal with it. I am a good person, no need to thank me. There are 5 people in the Black Knife Beast hunting team. I killed 4 of them one after another. There should be another Yu Laowu. I wonder where that guy is. Yi Tian knows the principle of cutting the grass and eradicating the roots. That Yu Laowu must also know his existence, so he wants to find him and get rid of him. I heard that Yu Laowu was injured before. He must be recovering in the gathering place. We should be able to find out if we go there and ask. Activating the spirit bird step, Yi Tian ran all the way. Finally arrived at the gathering place before dark. Some people looked at Yi Tian. They found that Yi Tian was only a level 2 warrior. He didn't have anything on him. They immediately lost interest. Young man, you went into the forest alone. At this time, an old man in his 60s or 70s slowly walked up to Yi Tian and asked kindly. Yes, uncle, what can I do for you? Yi Tian did not feel any malice from the old man, and asked about the other party's purpose. The old man said, nothing else, I just want to tell you that the fallen leaf forest is very dangerous. It is safer to fight alone than to be with a team. And you are so young, you must not know that people are treacherous, so I suggest that you go to the fallen leaf forest again in the future. You can find the hunting team of the city guards and join them. They are trustworthy, but for other teams, young man, you'd better be more vigilant. If you can't join, don't join. After saying that, the old man didn't continue to talk, and staggered away step by step. Some people in the gathering place seemed to know what the old man and Yi Tian said, and sneered, old man Ji Yu is really kind. He persuades single people when he sees them, so that I have only pitted 3 rookies these days. Who said that old man Gu's son is a martial arts master of the city defense army, but I heard that his son has not been able to come back since he went deep into the fallen leaf forest. I'm afraid he has died there. No wonder that dead old man has been wandering here, it seems that he is waiting for his son. HMPH. When I know the news that his son is dead, I will definitely punish that old guy. I think you should give up this idea quickly. It is said that this old man has a gifted granddaughter. She is already a level 1 martial artist at a young age and is expected to be admitted to a first-class martial arts university. If you want to die early, go and provoke him. That old man is so mean, why are his family members so powerful? God is unfair. Hearing what the people around him were talking about, Yi Tian cast a grateful look at the old man. It is obvious that the old man really reminded him out of kindness and did not include other ideas. No, maybe he also has other ideas. For example, pray for his son in this way. Next, Yi Tian wandered around the gathering place. While he was observing the environment here, he quietly inquired about the camp of the Black Knife Hunter team. This gathering place is not small, covering an area of thousands of acres. There are hotels for accommodation and restaurants for meals. There are also shops that sell cultivation resources and purchase materials for exotic beasts. Yi Tian also saw a happy house at the gathering center. When the women soliciting customers at the door saw him, it was like seeing delicious food. They put his hands into their clothes and said they would pay him to serve him. Yi Tian didn't agree. Does he look like a poor person? He was so angry that he took out their hands that were stretched to his lower body. He left there with disdain. He felt that those women were much more hateful than Zhang Heitao, who had chased him before. After all, he could kill Zhang Heitao in return. But he couldn't kill those women in return, right? Wouldn't it be that they just fell into his trap? After wandering around, Yi Tian did not gain nothing. As the night deepened, Yi Tian came to the outside of a tent. He found out that the camp of the Black Knife Beast hunting team was here. That Yu Laowu was healing inside. Seeing that there was no one around, and hearing the breathing of only one person in the tent, Yi Tian knew that there was someone inside, so he rushed in quickly. Who are you and what do you want to do? Seeing Yi Tian suddenly rushing in, Yu Laowu, who was practicing, was startled. He quickly drew out his saber and made an attacking gesture. And asked, Yu Laowu, the gangster boss asked me to take your life. Yi Tian waved his long sword in response. How could the boss want to kill me? No, I am not Yu Lao. Yu Laowu replied subconsciously, and when he was halfway through his words, he suddenly reacted and changed his words immediately. Unfortunately, it was too late. With a puff, after confirming that the other party was Yu Laowu, Yi Tian swept his sword. Before Yu Laowu finished speaking, his head flew up. Yi Tian is not a person who kills innocent people. In order to prevent killing the wrong person, he used words to deceive the other party. From the other party's reaction, Yi Tian can be sure that this person is Yu Laowu he is looking for. He immediately decisively solved the other party. After looting the spoils, Yi Tian set fire to the tent. He immediately came to a hotel and booked a room to stay. The city gates were closed at night and could not be entered. He planned to rest here for a night before going back. No words all night. The next morning, there was a heated discussion in the camp. Have you heard? All the people in the Black Knife Beast hunting team were killed, and even that slutty woman Zhao Sanmei had her pants taken off and humiliated before she died. Her lower body was horrible. I envy that person for being able to humiliate Zhao Sanmei, that slutty woman. I have always wanted to conquer her but never had the chance. I don't know how happy that person was at that time. Hearing what these people said, Yi Tian wanted to say that he didn't humiliate the other party at all. Okay. Zhao Sanmei took off her clothes herself, what does it have to do with me? Not to mention how cool it is. No, these people are talking about the lower body. I remember that Zhao Sanmei didn't take off her pants before I killed her. Could it be that there are brothers with unique tastes after I left? Thinking of this, Yi Tian got goosebumps all over his body. Too heavy taste, but it could also be a strange beast. Yi Tian knew that strange beasts like red-eyed apes like to catch human women and do that kind of thing crazily. But it has nothing to do with him. You may not know that the most explosive news is that all the people in the 10th team of Broadsword 3 have been killed. I don't know who did it. They even dared to kill people from the Wu family. No matter who dares to kill people from the Wu family, the ending is doomed. I heard that the 3rd hunting team of Broadsword 2nd class is in the inner circle of the Fallen Leaf Forest. The team leader Zhang Mingfei is a level 10 martial arts master and Zhang Heitao's brother. If he knows who killed his brother, that person will definitely not have a good end. I heard that the 9th team of Kuang Dao San and others failed to kill the bloodthirsty spider but were completely wiped out. I don't know where the bloodthirsty spider ran to. Many people went to look for it but couldn't find it. That's a quasi-3rd level alien beast. If we kill it and get its beast core, we will make a lot of money. Yi Tian ate breakfast while listening to the conversations of the people around him. After eating, he left here and returned to the city soon. Hello, I want to sell some things. As soon as he returned to the city, Yi Tian came to Wanbao building under the Lei Ting Martial Arts School. This store is very trustworthy, especially never mentioning the items that customers sell and buy here. Yi Tian also chose to sell the alien beast materials on his body here after some thought, as well as some spoils of war. Okay, Okay sir, please take out the things you want to sell, I will help you estimate the price. It was still the same female staff member who received Yi Tian. Seeing Yi Tian again, she was still stunned for a while, and her speech was a little stuttering, but it was much better than last time. The female staff member was also very happy. She thought to herself, I can meet this handsome boy again. Does it mean that he and I are destined to be together? Should I ask for his contact information and invite him to dinner and to my house to have with him? Yi Tian didn't know that at this moment, a series of inappropriate things were going on in the mind of the female staff member. He glanced around and said, can we go to a separate room? I have a lot of things to sell. Seeing that there were many customers in the store, Yi Tian was worried that after he took out the things he wanted to sell, they would watch and speculate. He didn't want to cause unnecessary trouble. Ah, you can go to a separate room, please follow me. Seeing that Yi Tian wanted to protect privacy, the female staff member immediately said yes. But just when she was about to take Yi Tian away, a woman came out of the store. This woman was Yao Ruowu, the eldest daughter of Lei Ting Martial Arts School. She had long hair down to her waist, a white pearl flower on her head, and a beautiful face. Her bright eyes seemed to be able to speak, and there was a smile on the corners of her rosy lips. Yao Ruowu was also wearing a purple dress today, but it was embroidered with flowers. The ribbon tied around her waist was also more beautiful. She should have heard what Yi Tian said. She walked in front of the two of them. She looked at Yi Tian carefully. She showed a look of surprise. She immediately said to the female staff member, I will entertain him, you go and get busy. The female staff member felt empty when she heard this. It felt like she had made a mistake of billions. But Yao Ruowu was the eldest daughter, and Wanbaolo was still her property. She didn't dare to offend her, so she had to nod. Yi Tian, can I entertain you? Yao Ruowu looked at Yi Tian. Her eyes swept over Yi Tian. The surprise flashed in the depths of her eyes became stronger. Immediately, her eyes met Yi Tian's again, motionless, as if she wanted to see through Yi Tian. No problem, thank you, miss. Yi Tian had no objection, even if he had an objection. Wouldn't he sell it here? Well, follow me. Under the leadership of Yao Ruowu, Yi Tian came to a very private room behind the store. Yao Ruowu said, you can take out the things you want to sell. Don't worry, no matter what items you take out, what I know will rot in my stomach after leaving this door. I guess you also know the reputation of my Wanbao building and come here to sell things. Yi Tian didn't know, and immediately took out the things to be sold in the storage bag one by one. There were a lot of things, and soon the table in front of the two was piled up. Because the body of the bloodthirsty spider was too big, Yi Tian put it on the ground. Seeing the pile of things Yi Tian took out, Yao Ruowu seemed to know it in advance. She didn't show a very surprised expression. She followed the procedure and said, wait a moment, you can sit here and drink tea. I will give you a price after counting these items. Yi Tian nodded, and then sat on the chair next to the table, drinking the tea handed over by Yao Ruowu. It tasted pretty good, and there was a trace of yuan qi. Obviously, this is a cup of yuan tea. Yi Tian drank it in big gulps. Soon he drank up a teapot of yuan tea. Still a little unsatisfied. About a quarter of an hour later, Yao Ruowu took out a list. It listed all the items and prices. She handed it to Yi Tian and said, do you see if there is anything missing? Is this price acceptable? Yi Tian has a strong memory. After scanning it and confirming that there is nothing missing, he has no opinion on the price given by Yao Ruowu, so he nodded in agreement. Yao Ruowu nodded and said, okay, the total is 1,038,700 yuan coins. Let's make friends, so I'll give you 1,040,000 yuan coins. Should it be directly transferred to your account, or paid with yuan stones? Yi Tian did not answer, and asked, I plan to buy a high-level martial arts method, does the young lady have any recommendations? You want to buy a high-level martial arts method? Yes, you do need to buy a high-level martial arts method. Hearing Yi Tian's request, Yao Ruowu smiled. Yi Tian was confused by Yao Ruowu's smile. What does this woman mean? Could it be that she knows my plan? Seeing Yi Tian's doubts, Yao Ruowu did not hide it. She explained with a smile. To be honest, I have practiced a general level chi observing secret technique these 2 days, which can see a person's cultivation level. Of course, the premise is that your cultivation level is not much higher than mine. I see that your vitality is very empty and relatively mixed. I guess that the level of your cultivation method is not high, so I am not surprised that you want to buy a high-level cultivation method. This is also the reason why Yao Ruowu took the initiative to receive Yi Tian when she saw him. Her best friend Fang Hanyu told her before that Yi Tian's cultivation talent was very poor, and he only had the cultivation level of a level 2 martial artist. But just now she found that Yi Tian's cultivation level had reached the level of a level 3 martial artist, and it seemed that he had practiced a fairly good secret technique of hiding his breath. It's just that the level of that secret technique of hiding breath is not very high. He couldn't hide his true cultivation under her general level qi seeing secret technique. So that's it. Knowing this was the reason, Yi Tian didn't dwell on it too much. It was fine if the other party saw through his cultivation. He believed that since Yao Ruowu chose to tell him, he would not tell his true cultivation. Yi Tian immediately asked Yao Ruowu to introduce him to the exercises. He believed that Wanbao Tower should have a high-level exercise suitable for him. But the next second, Yao Ruowu's words shocked Yi Tian's heart. Yao Ruowu said, "Yi Tian, you can use low-level exercises to practice to the level of a third-level martial artist, which shows that your talent is not as ordinary as it is said." Yao Ruowu wanted to say it was rubbish. But when she thought that she was a girl and it was not elegant to say such rude words, and it was not very pleasant to Yi Tian, she changed her mouth. She continued, "If you are willing, I can recommend the exercise I practiced to you, Thunder King Gong." The levels of skills, martial arts and secret arts are divided from low to high. Basic, elementary, intermediate, advanced, general, king, emperor, honor, saint and emperor. Among them, the skills, martial arts and secret arts that reach the king level and above are further divided into 4 levels: low, middle, upper and extreme. Yi Tian naturally knows the name of Thunder King skill. It is still well known, because this skill is the best king level skill. He is also the owner of the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. The skill practiced by the Thunder King, a strong man at the level 8 Martial King realm. It is also the town skill of the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. This skill is also listed as the 4 most powerful skills in Ancheng City together with the Sword King Classic of the City Lord's Mansion, the Red Flame King skill, practiced by the commander of the city guard Fang Nanshan, and the Poison King skill, practiced by the head of the Wu family. Because the power of thunder is inherently violent and domineering, and the attack power is strong. The Thunder King Kung Fu is also known as the best martial arts in Ancheng. Yi Tian didn't expect Yao Ruowu to recommend this powerful martial arts to him. Am I dreaming? No, the other party definitely has something in mind for me. Yi Tian doesn't believe that such a good thing will happen to him in the world. If the other party has no intention of him, he will never believe it. Could it be that this daughter of the Thunder Martial Arts School, the proud daughter of Longda, a beautiful woman who is said to have the cultivation of a general, is also as superficial as other women, and is greedy for my appearance and body? Then should I begrudgingly follow her because she is so beautiful and seems to have never dated anyone, and it may be her first time? For the first time, Yi Tian felt that sacrificing his appearance and brotherhood didn't seem to be a big deal. Yi Tian, I know you must be wondering why I said that. Seeing Yi Tian's stunned expression and the gaze in Yi Tian's eyes as bright as the stars. He kept looking at her plump body. Especially the longest time he stayed on her chest. This made Yao Ruowu realize what Yi Tian might be thinking, and her white cheeks were immediately stained with a layer of blush. Yao Ruowu was already beautiful. She was also one of the 3 beauties in Ancheng City. At this moment, her face was matched with this blush. Don't mention how beautiful she was. I guess even the high monks would be unable to sit still after seeing it. This Yi Tian always looks at me there. He must have bad ideas in his mind, but why am I not angry at all when he looks at me like this? It shouldn't be. Could it be that I am actually a face party? Yao Ruowu was quite puzzled. When in school, those boys would have their heads buzzed by her thunder if they looked at her chest for a second. But Yao Ruowu didn't understand why she could accept Yi Tian's constant invasion of her gaze. Could it be that a handsome man can really do whatever he wants? Yao Ruowu suddenly understood why her best friend Fang Hanyu often mentioned Yi Tian in front of her. Realizing that his behavior was very reckless, Yi Tian quickly retracted his gaze. Resisting the wrong thoughts in his heart, he nodded and replied. Yes, the Thunder King Gong is the town martial arts of your family, miss. I guess no matter how much money I have, you won't sell it to me. Yao Ruowu nodded and said, of course it is, but my family's martial arts is not passed on to others. Yi Tian, I guess you also know that any force that wants to prosper needs to constantly absorb geniuses. You are a genius. If you can join the Genius Pavilion of my martial arts school, you can practice the Thunder King Gong, from the martial arts apprentice to the martial arts master realm for free. If you make a significant contribution to my martial arts school, or do something that makes my father happy, you can also obtain the subsequent skills. So, Yi Tian, are you willing to join my Genius Pavilion? After learning that it was this reason, Yi Tian admitted that he was somewhat tempted. But he was not a person who liked to be restrained. So he hesitated again. After a while, Yi Tian made a decision and thanked her with a fist. Thank you for your kindness, miss, but I am a person who likes freedom by nature. I am afraid I can't join the Genius Pavilion of your martial arts school. In fact, apart from this point, Yi Tian believed that with the system, even if he could not practice powerful skills in a short period of time, he would have a chance in the future. Anyway, as long as he had money, he could practice from the beginning. Puff. Seeing that Yi Tian rejected him for this reason, Yao Ruowu subconsciously covered her red lips and laughed. Her smile is very beautiful, like a blooming peony, very beautiful. Yao Ruowu explained. Yi Tian, you don't have to worry about this, you will still be very free after joining my Genius Pavilion. Because in addition to the initial rewards, you can take the initiative to receive tasks if you want other training resources. Completing tasks will earn contribution points, and you can use contribution points to purchase training resources provided by my martial arts hall. If you are not interested in the training resources provided by my martial arts school, you don't have to do any tasks. You can stay in the martial arts school to train if you want, and go out if you want. As long as you don't betray my martial arts school, you can say that there are no restrictions. So Yi Tian, do you think you can join my Genius Pavilion now? Yao Ruowu blinked her big black eyes, and looked at Yi Tian with a beautiful smile on her face. After she said this, it is estimated that any martial artist would be very tempted, and Yi Tian was no exception. Not only is there no restriction on freedom, but you can also get a king-level top-grade martial arts for free. Although it is only part of it, this treatment is already very good. As long as Yi Tian is not stupid, there is no reason to refuse. If this is the case, then I have no problem. I choose to join the Genius Pavilion of Thunder Martial Arts School. Seeing that the restriction on freedom that he was worried about was not a problem, and he could get the martial arts for free, and even use the training resources of Thunder Martial Arts School to practice and improve his strength, Yi Tian happily agreed. Hearing this, Yao Ruowu showed a happy smile on his face, and his heart suddenly became happy. It was as if Yi Tian would lose something precious if he didn't agree to join her Genius Pavilion. Her heart was empty. Well, come with me to the martial arts hall, I'll help you go through the formalities of joining the Genius Pavilion. The Thunder Martial Arts Hall covers a large area. Although it is a martial arts hall, it has pavilions, towers, carved beams and painted buildings. Nowadays, there are all kinds of villas and buildings. There is even a large artificial lake. This shows the financial strength of the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. It is worthy of being one of the 4 major forces in Ancheng City. Yao Ruowu took Yi Tian to the room of the Genius Reception Room and gave Yi Tian a contract. There are not many contents in the contract. In addition to what Yao Ruowu said, there are 2 more benefits. One is that practitioners who join the Genius Pavilion can get a low-grade Thunder Yuan liquid for free every month in the Martial Arts Hall for practice. The second is that practitioners who join the Genius Pavilion can choose a house to live in the Genius residential area of the Martial Arts Hall. The contract is in duplicate. Without any problem, Yi Tian decisively signed his name in the signature area. Seeing that Yi Tian signed the contract without any delay, Yao Ruowu took out a purple book of exercises from the space ring and handed it to Yi Tian, saying, "This is the exercise required for the first 4 realms of Thunder King Gong. You can only read and practice here, and return it to me after you succeed in practicing. Yao Ruowu pointed to a room inside and said, there is a resting place and a practice room inside. I will arrange a maid outside after I leave. If you need food and drink, just tell her directly. After you learn this exercise, you can go to the Genius Pavilion. Every genius can choose a house in the Genius Residential area of my Thunder Martial Arts School, but you can only live by yourself. Of course, if you need a woman to serve you, it must be a maid from our Thunder Martial Arts School, and you can't bring it in from outside. There are many maids in my martial arts school, and some are practitioners, but you need to spend money if you want them to serve you. If you can attract them with your appearance, temperament, eloquence and other aspects, and let them serve you for free, it is also possible. You do have a huge advantage in terms of appearance. After looking at Yi Tian's handsome face, Yao Ruowu suddenly regretted telling Yi Tian these things. If Yi Tian really had such needs, would all her maids rush to take care of Yi Tian? Could Yi Tian handle so many maids? When she thought of that kind of grand scene, Yao Ruowu's fair and beautiful cheeks suddenly turned red. Okay, you practice, I won't bother you anymore. In order to avoid being discovered by Yi Tian, Yao Ruowu left the room quickly with her long legs. A middle-aged man who had been waiting outside saw Yao Ruowu come out and said with a smile, Ruowu, since you chose to let him skip the 3-level assessment of the Genius Pavilion and directly let him become a member of our Thunder Martial Arts Hall Genius Pavilion, you are so optimistic about him, how long do you think it will take him to learn the Thunder King Gong? The man was wearing a gray training suit and had an extraordinary demeanor. He was Yao Ruowu's second uncle, a level 3 martial arts king. He learned that his niece had brought someone back from outside. He also directly let the other party skip the 3-level assessment of the Genius Pavilion to select geniuses and signed a genius contract. Although Yao Tijun knew that his genius niece had always been very accurate in judging people. But it still made him very confused, so he came here. Seeing his second uncle ask this, Yao Ruowu lowered her smooth chin with a jade finger, thought for a while, and then said, about 2 hours. About 2 hours, are you sure? It only took you an hour and a half to cultivate the Thunder King technique before. Do you think his cultivation talent is so close to yours? I heard that he is synonymous with cultivation waste in school, and he is indeed too handsome. For a moment, Yao Tijun wondered if his genius niece made an exception for him because she was attracted by Yi Tian's appearance. Yao Tijun thought that Commander Fang's daughter often mentioned Yi Tian. The more he thought, this possibility was very high. Then how long do you think it will take him, second uncle? Yao Ruowu did not explain too much, but asked back. Seeing that his niece was unwilling to talk about Yi Tian's appearance. Yao Tijun held his chin with one hand, thought for a while and said, even if he has always chosen to be low-key and hide his cultivation talent, I don't think he will be that good. I guess it will take 3 days. 3 days. Hearing this time, Yao Ruowu suddenly laughed, his black eyes turned, and said, second uncle, how about we make a bet? If Yi Tian can practice Thunder King Gong in less than 3 days, even if I win, you can give him the brigadier level weapon you used in your early years, the black gold long sword, how about it? Seeing that his niece is so confident in Yi Tian, and he wants to get benefits from Yi Tian, Yao Tijun feels more and more that his guess may be true. The cabbage raised by his elder brother may be dug up by someone. However, seeing that his niece is so confident in Yi Tian, Yao Tijun immediately became interested and smiled. Since Ruowu believes in that boy so much, then second uncle will make this bet with you, but what if you lose? Second uncle, what do you want? Ruowu doesn't have any treasures that you can look at. Yao Ruowu said as she walked over and grabbed one of Yao Tijun's arms, shaking it while looking up at him with a pitiful look. Her watery eyes seemed to be about to cry. Seeing his niece using this pitiful look that he was very familiar with again, Yao Tijun suddenly felt overwhelmed. This girl only knows how to use this trick to deal with him, and every time it will make him bleed profusely. But Yao Tijun had no choice but to say helplessly, if second uncle wins, you can help second uncle teach your naughty cousin a lesson, okay? That kid is afraid of you the most in this family because he is spoiled by his mother. Second uncle, don't worry. Even if you don't ask for this, Ruowu is willing to help you deal with Xiaochen. Hearing this condition that has almost no loss to herself, Yao Ruowu smiled happily. There was no more pitiful look just now. Yao Tijun was speechless and covered his forehead. He felt that he should not have come here. But he looked at the room, and a pair of sharp eyes flashed with lightning, as if he could penetrate the thick wall and see Yi Tian inside. Boy, I hope you really deserve Ruowu's trust and love for you. Forget it, let my brother and his wife worry about this. I just don't know how those geniuses will react when they know about this. Thunder Martial Arts School Genius Pavilion. Have you heard that the eldest lady brought back a boy from outside and directly let that boy join our Genius Pavilion? Isn't it too childish? Isn't it? When we joined the Genius Pavilion, didn't we pass 3 tests to get this qualification? What's the reason for that boy? I heard that the boy is very handsome. Could it be that he deceived the eldest lady with his appearance? Be careful with what you say. The eldest lady is not such a superficial person. And which man can be so handsome that the eldest lady makes an exception? Then what is the reason? Is the other party's strength really ridiculous? I heard that the boy is only 18 years old. Even if he is a genius, a 5th or 6th level warrior is amazing, but at this level, the eldest lady has no reason to let him join the Genius Pavilion directly. Let's not speculate. The guy who is in the worst mood must be Wu Ming, right? He just passed the 3-level assessment after that guy joined, but according to the rules of the Genius Pavilion, only 1 genius can be recruited per month, so Wu Ming can only join after a month. In this way, Wu Ming will not be able to practice the Thunder King Gong in a short period of time, and he will not even be able to get the Thunder Yuan liquid benefit that is awarded once a month. This is a vengeance that blocks the way. Thunder Martial Arts Hall, outside Yao Ruowu's single-family villa. Miss, Wu Ming wants to see you. A sturdy young man with a height of no less than 2 meters pressed the doorbell outside the villa and shouted loudly. His voice was so loud that it attracted the attention of many people around. What does Wu Ming want to see, miss? I heard that he passed the 3-level assessment of the Genius Pavilion. I guess he wants to see miss to get the Thunder King Gong. You are out of date. I heard that the eldest lady found a genius from outside and brought him back. She let that genius join the Genius Pavilion before he passed the 3 levels. Wu Ming happened to pass the 3 levels after that person joined. According to the rule that the Genius Pavilion only recruits 1 genius a month, Wu Ming's quota was squeezed out by that kid. So Wu Ming wants to ask the eldest lady for an explanation. Wu Ming is a stubborn kid who doesn't know how to adapt to things. I guess he will quarrel with the eldest lady. I don't know how the eldest lady will deal with it. I know why you came, but I have made up my mind. I can assure you that the place to enter the Genius Pavilion next month is yours. Yao Ruowu did not come out, but her voice resounded throughout the area. Miss, I don't accept it. Why can that boy join the Genius Pavilion directly without going through 3 levels? Are the rules of the Genius Pavilion not as important as the preferences of the young lady? Seeing that Yao Ruowu had made up her mind, Wu Ming suddenly felt uncomfortable. She spoke with anger. She didn't care that the other party was the young lady of the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. Wu Ming, I know you are angry, but I still say that I have made up my mind and will not change it. You go back. Yao Ruowu's voice came out again, but her attitude remained unchanged. Seeing that the young lady was still like this, although Wu Ming was very angry, but he also knew that this young lady with the cultivation level of level 3 general had a high status in the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. She was also the first genius of the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. Since she said this repeatedly, it was obvious that this decision was not something he could change. But Wu Ming still refused to accept it and continued to shout loudly, Miss, since you still make this decision, I respect your decision, but I still refuse to accept that kid. I will go to the genius reception room and wait for him to come out. Then I will prove to you who is the genius between me and him. After saying that, Wu Ming turned around and walked towards the genius reception room. On the way, he also notified his maid on the phone and asked her to prepare food and quilts for him. He planned to live there directly in the next few days and wait for Etienne to come out. The news spread quickly. Genius Pavilion. Have you heard that Wu Ming went to the eldest lady to ask for an explanation but to no avail, so he moved directly to the outside of the genius reception room to wait for that kid, and threatened to beat the kid named Etienne so that he could not take care of himself. Although Wu Ming is only 23 years old, he is already a level 6 martial artist. At this age, he has reached this level with higher potential and strength than some of the geniuses in our Genius Pavilion. The kid named Yi Tian is going to be unlucky. Who told that kid to become a member of our Genius Pavilion without passing the 3 levels? Not to mention Wu Ming. Even I want to find an opportunity to compete with that kid to see if he is really a genius. I don't know how many days it will take for that kid to practice the Thunder King art. I remember that the slowest genius in our Genius Pavilion only took 6 days. I think he will take at least 4 days. This time is already average among us. If he can practice the Thunder King art in 4 days, I will admit that he is one of us. The backyard of the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. Thunder King Yao Jinlei walked out of the practice room and asked a maid. Why is it so noisy outside? What happened? The maid bowed to him and explained. Master, it was the eldest lady who brought back a boy from outside. Because he didn't pass the 3 levels of the Genius Pavilion, the eldest lady directly let the boy join the Genius Pavilion, which caused dissatisfaction among Wu Ming, who had passed the 3 levels not long ago but lost the opportunity to join the Genius Pavilion this month because of the boy's early joining, so he went to the eldest lady to ask for an explanation. But the eldest lady didn't give in, so Wu Ming slept outside the genius reception room, waiting for the genius to come out and compete with him. He wanted to prove to the eldest lady who was the real genius between them, and this matter caused heated discussions among many people in the museum. Is that so? It's quite interesting, but the second brother is the head of the Genius Pavilion, doesn't he have any objection? Chapter 21. However, Yao Jinlei knew that a little maid would not know this, so he disappeared in a flash. When he appeared again, he was in front of Yao Tijun. Brother, you are out of retreat, have you made a breakthrough? Yao Tijun was drinking tea, and when he saw Yao Jinlei suddenly appear in front of him, he stood up and asked Yao Jinlei to sit down. Speaking of realm, Yao Jinlei shook his head with some disappointment and said, it's still a little short of the heat, but I'm not looking for you for this. Yao Jinlei immediately asked what he wanted to ask. Yao Tijun did not hide it, and told him about the bet between his niece Yao Ruowu and himself. Ruowu is not a child who shoots without purpose. It seems that she is very optimistic about the little guy named Yi Tian, but what do you mean by saying that the boy is handsome? Brother, I don't mean anything, I just stated a fact. Oh, then I'll leave, but I also look forward to that boy practicing Thunder King Gong in a few days. I also spent half a day to practice it back then, which was only a few hours slower than Ruowu. Looking at the place where his elder brother suddenly disappeared after speaking, Yao Tijun smiled softly. This father and daughter are really the same character, they both like to play surprises. At this time, in the training room, Yi Tian didn't know that because of his appearance, he attracted widespread attention and heated discussions outside. Yao Ruowu transferred the money from selling materials and spoils to Yi Tian on the way here. Yi Tian thought about it and left 100,000, intending to go back to his father to relieve his pressure. He let the system recharge the rest of the money, plus the yuan she obtained from killing Zhao Sanmei and others. Yi Tian's wealth value suddenly reached more than 15,000 points. Yi Tian then sat cross-legged on the futon and quickly finished reading the Thunder King Gong, a top-grade king-level skill. Yi Tian immediately said, System, practice Thunder King Gong. Okay host, consume 1,300 points of wealth value, and practice Thunder King Gong to entry level. Ding, consume 2,200 points of wealth value, and practice Thunder King Gong to small success. Ding, 3,600 points of wealth are consumed, and the Thunder King art is cultivated to perfection. Ding, 5,000 points of wealth are consumed, and the Thunder King art is cultivated to perfection. When the system prompt sound ended, Yi Tian found that he had already had a very deep understanding of this king-level thunder attribute technique. It is estimated that even the Thunder King in person would have only understood the first 4 levels of this technique. After practicing this technique to perfection, Yi Tian found that all the vitality in his body was transformed into purple thunder attribute Thunder Vitality. The vitality also became extremely pure and condensed from the initial complexity. The amount of vitality also increased a lot, nearly 10 times more than before, which also means that his combat power at the same level has increased by about 10 times on the original basis. This is the benefit of practicing high-level techniques, and it is also the reason why everyone is eager to pursue high-level techniques. In addition to the fast practice speed and high future upper limit of practicing high-level techniques, it is to obtain stronger combat power at the same level, and even have the ability to fight across levels. Feeling the surge of vitality in his body, Yi Tian's face lit up. I didn't expect that my combat power would increase so much after changing my skills. I can feel that my current strength is far beyond the previous level 3 martial artist. I guess I can blow up my previous self with just one strike. It's worth spending so much wealth to practice Thunder King skill. Feeling the large amount of vitality in his body, Yi Tian showed a happy expression on his face. At the same time, Yi Tian also understood that the more wealth points consumed to practice this technique, the more powerful this technique is. There are more than 2,000 wealth points left, so I will use them to practice the 2 king level top grade combat skills, Thunder Slashing Sword skill and Thunder Rage Step. I just happen to lack powerful offensive martial arts and body skills. Thunder King Gong is not only a practice technique, but also comes with 4 king level top grade martial arts. These 4 king level top grade martial arts are the offensive martial arts, Thunder Slashing Sword skill, Thunder Fist Seal, and Thunder Grabbing Hand, and the body skill, Thunder Rage Step. However, the 2 martial arts, Thunder Grabbing Hand, and Thunder Fist Seal, are in the subsequent techniques. The technique Yi Tian got only introduced these 2 martial arts, and there is no specific practice method. Of course, even Thunder Slashing Sword skill and Thunder Rage Step are not complete. Both lack important martial arts principles, and neither can bring out the full power of the king-level ultimate martial arts. But even so, these 2 incomplete king-level ultimate martial arts are much more powerful than the average middle-upper-level king-level martial arts. Yi Tian is not a greedy person, and he is already very satisfied to get these 2 martial arts for free. Soon, Yi Tian consumed 1,000 points of wealth each and practiced these 2 martial arts to the entry-level practice level. Yi Tian glanced at the attribute panel, and the information on it changed again. Host: Yi Tian. Strength: Level 3 Martial Artist. Kung Fu: Thunder King Gong King Level Ultimate, Perfect Yuan Qi Attraction Technique Basic, Great. Martial Arts: Thunder Slashing Sword Technique King Level Ultimate, Entry Thunder Violent Step King Level Ultimate, Entry Layered Wave Sword Technique Elementary, Perfect Spirit Bird Step Elementary, Perfect Basic Boxing Great Basic Footwork Great. Secret Technique: Hidden Chi Ju Intermediate, Perfect. Wealth: Primary Long Sword Intact. Wealth Value: 900. It's time to go out. Hello, Mr. Yi, are you going to have a meal? When Yi Tian opened the door of the genius reception room, a beautiful maid saw Yi Tian, was stunned for a moment, and stuttered to ask Yi Tian about his needs. Yi Tian shook his head and said, I'm not hungry now, I just practiced the Thunder King Gong. Please take me to see your eldest daughter, and I will return the skills to her. Oh, okay, wait, what did you say? You have practiced the Thunder King Gong. Are you sure? The maid grew up in the Thunder Martial Arts Hall since she was a child, and she also knew the difficulty of practicing the Thunder King Gong. She knew that it was the geniuses in the Genius Pavilion. It takes at least 2 days. The longest took 6 days. Even the eldest daughter of their martial arts hall took an hour and a half. But this extremely handsome Mr. Yi Tian actually told her that he had already practiced it. How long had he been in it? Only about half an hour at most. He successfully practiced the Thunder King Gong in half an hour. The maid queer covered her mouth with her hands in shock. She felt that if she spread this news, the people in the martial arts hall would definitely laugh at her for bragging. Why is this technique difficult to practice? Seeing the maid's expression suddenly become extremely shocked after learning that he had practiced the Thunder King technique, Yi Tian felt that he seemed to have said something he shouldn't have said. But he didn't know this. He thought that others could practice this technique quickly. Since he had already said it, he might as well be high profile. After all, he is also a man with cheats. It's not too much to be high profile, right? The maid nodded. Just when Yi Tian was about to tell others how long it would take to successfully practice this technique, Wu Ming, who had been squatting at the door, suddenly rushed over. He was also stunned when he saw Yi Tian, and then he thought that Yi Tian came out to eat. Thinking that Yi Tian was still practicing the technique, He didn't bother to interfere with the other party at this time, so he simply turned his head and continued to meditate and practice. But when he heard Yi Tian say that he had practiced the Thunder King technique, he was completely stunned. Who am I? Where am I? What should I do? After a long pause, Wu Ming came back to his senses. Then he rushed to Yi Tian and said coldly, "Boy, you know I'm waiting for you here, so you deliberately bragged to scare me off, right? It's ridiculous. Do you think you can scare me off like this? You underestimate me too much. Even if you really practiced Thunder King Gong in half an hour, what's so great about it? If you have the ability, you can fight me on the fighting stage. I won't bully you. What's your cultivation level? I will suppress my cultivation level and fight you. If you are a man, don't be timid." Looking at the young man who suddenly appeared in front of him, talking a lot and shouting at him, Yi Tian was confused and asked in confusion, "Who are you?" He couldn't help thinking, is there something wrong with this guy's brain? What, you don't know me? I'm the genius Wu Ming, Wu Ming. Seeing Yi Tian said he didn't know him, Wu Ming's voice was raised a few degrees. He is very famous among the official members of the Thunder Martial Arts School, and even many geniuses in the Genius Pavilion know him. This kid actually said that he didn't know him. This made him very uncomfortable. "Oh, Wu Ming, right. Now I know, you can go." Yi Tian glanced at the young man named Wu Ming and stopped paying attention to him. Immediately, he asked the maid Queer to take him to see the eldest lady Yao Ruowu and return the martial arts. "Boy, are you a man? If you admit that you are not a man and don't have the courage to fight me, this matter will be forgotten." Seeing that Yi Tian ignored his meaning, Wu Ming became even more angry. Not only was his quota taken away by this guy who looked like a high school student, he actually ignored him. Do you really think he is easy to bully? Yi Tian was confused by this remark, stopped in confusion, glanced at the other party and said, "What's wrong with you? What do you mean this matter is forgotten? I don't seem to have offended you." Yi Tian himself has a good memory, and he doesn't know this person at all. He was very confused about what this young man named Wu Ming meant. However, Yi Tian was very observant. He could see that this man had a lot of complaints about him, as if he owed him a lot of money. That's why Yi Tian wanted to ask for clarification. One more enemy means one less way out. If the other party really had a grudge against him, he wouldn't mind finding a deserted place to deal with him. He was just a level 6 martial artist. The fluctuations of the other party's vitality didn't hide anything. Yi Tian could easily see his cultivation. Although this person's cultivation was 3 small realms higher than his. But Yi Tian still had great confidence that he could easily kill the other party. Unless this person also practiced the best king level skills in martial arts. However, the purity and solidity of the vitality emanating from Wu Ming's body were very different from his. "You don't know." Seeing that Yi Tian was confused about what happened and didn't seem to be pretending, Wu Ming was stunned. "What should I know? Why don't you tell me?" Yi Tian was speechless. This guy didn't even know whether he knew what he should know, but he came to talk to him. Isn't he a stubborn person? Wu Ming immediately explained the cause and effect of the incident. Knowing that this was the reason why this guy had such a big grudge against him, Yi Tian smiled bitterly. Who did he offend? It was really an unprovoked disaster. And the eldest lady didn't tell me clearly. But Yi Tian also understood that this might be a test from the eldest lady to him. Thinking of this, Yi Tian held his chin with one hand and looked at Wu Ming, and his eyes suddenly lit up. He had an idea and said with a smile, Yi Tian, am not a coward. Since you want to fight with me, I can agree to it, but I have nothing wrong in this matter. If I agree to it so easily, wouldn't it be underestimated by others, so? Yi Tian wanted to lay a few groundwork for his purpose, but he didn't expect that when he was about to say his purpose, he was interrupted by Wu Ming. So you are still afraid, right? I suppressed my cultivation and fought with you at the same level, and you are afraid. What kind of genius are you? What kind of martial arts are you practicing? Seeing that Yi Tian's previous words made him very satisfied, but the sudden turn made Wu Ming very angry. If this guy is afraid of fighting with him, just say it clearly. It's too hypocritical to beat around the bush. He despises such people the most. Even if he is a genius, he will not achieve much in the future. No, I haven't finished speaking yet, okay. Seeing that Wu Ming misunderstood his meaning, Yi Tian was speechless. He just wanted to add a bet. Okay. Is this meaning difficult to understand? Can't ordinary people hear it at once? Forget it. This person's brain is probably made of steel, and he doesn't understand the bends. Yi Tian simply said bluntly, Wu Ming, I'll tell you clearly, you want to fight with me, but we have to add a bet. Didn't you say that I took your place? Well, as long as you beat me, I can't give you the skills. After all, I have practiced, but I can give you this month's Thunder Yuan liquid, but if you lose, you need to give me 300,000 coins. Do you dare to agree? Of course, I won't bully you. You don't have to suppress your cultivation to fight me. Yi Tian's voice was calm, but it was like a boulder falling into a calm lake. It immediately set off a surging wave. It was like thunder in the maid Queer and Wu Ming's mind. The maid's eyes were wide open, and she was so surprised that she could only stuff an egg-sized mouth into her small hand like a cherry. She knew Wu Ming's cultivation level. He was a level 6 martial artist, and the level of the martial arts he practiced was not low. Although he had not yet joined the Genius Pavilion, his reputation had already spread to the Genius Pavilion. But this handsome guy Yi Tian is only about 18 or 19 years old. He actually wants to fight with Wu Ming, who does not suppress his cultivation. What is going on in his mind? Queer said that she couldn't figure it out and didn't understand. She also wanted to find a place where no one was around to have a serious exchange with Yi Tian. To understand Yi Tian's background, Wu Ming, who was standing aside, was also shocked by Yi Tian's words. He claimed to be a genius, so he wanted to fight Yi Tian with the same level of cultivation from the beginning. Of course, he still has an advantage in this way. Because he is much older than Yi Tian, has practiced more martial arts, and has more combat experience. So even if he suppresses his cultivation to the same level as Yi Tian, he still has a great advantage. Wu Ming never expected that the coward in front of him, who he thought was not a man just now, would say such brave words. After a while, Wu Ming calmed down the surging emotions in his heart. He suddenly found that he liked Yi Tian more and more. This person's temperament is really similar to his. Wu Ming immediately burst into laughter and said proudly, okay, this is what a real man should say. Just for this, I will be gentle when the time comes. Also, even if I beat you, I won't take your share of Thunder Essence fluid. I defeated you just to prove to the young lady that she was wrong to favor you. I am a genius who is stronger than you, so I don't want to target you. So you want to target the young lady, right? Hearing Wu Ming's words, Yi Tian smiled in his heart. Of course he didn't say this out loud. He saw that this guy named Wu Ming was a stubborn person. He didn't beat around the bush, he said whatever he wanted, and didn't think about the possible problems. The Thunder Martial Arts School is very big. But the news that Yi Tian was going to fight Wu Ming spread quickly to all parts of the martial arts school like wings. Genius Pavilion. Have you heard that Yi Tian not only agreed to fight Wu Ming, but also allowed Wu Ming not to suppress his cultivation? Is that Yi Tian kid mentally ill? I heard he's only 18 years old. No matter how powerful he is, can he be a match for Wu Ming, who is a level 6 martial artist? Isn't it? Wu Ming not only has a high level of cultivation, he also masters a high-level swordsmanship, a high-level body movement, and many elementary and intermediate martial arts. In addition, Wu Ming also has a brigadier-level weapon, a black gold broadsword, and he also practices a general-level technique. With so many bonuses, his combat power is very strong among martial artists, and there are countless warriors, martial artists, and second and third level monsters who have died in his hands. He has rich combat experience. That Yi Tian kid is so arrogant. Even if he fights Wu Ming, who is at the same level, he probably only has a 10% chance of winning, not to mention fighting Wu Ming, who doesn't suppress his cultivation. Although the result is certain, Yi Tian will definitely lose, but isn't he practicing Thunder King Gong now? How come he challenged Wu Ming so quickly? Don't you know yet? I heard that the boy practiced Thunder King Gong in just half an hour. When he came out, he not only accepted Wu Ming's challenge, but also took the initiative to add a bet. Practice Thunder King Gong in half an hour. Is his talent for practice better than the eldest lady? Too genius, right? HMPH. Who knows if it's true? No one saw him use the thunder energy. Even if it's true, so what? That guy probably thinks he can practice the Thunder King Gong so quickly, so he's arrogant and looks down on Wu Ming. Now there's a good show to watch, let's go to the fighting arena together. ... Brother, why are you here again? Can you knock on the door next time? It's because I'm not doing something I like, otherwise it would be embarrassing. Yao Tijun was practicing in the room. Suddenly found that Yao Jinlei's figure suddenly appeared in front of him. He was shocked and said unhappily. Yao Jinlei spread his hands and said innocently, I came in because I noticed that there was no one else in your room. If I knew there was someone else, I would give you face. Hearing this, Yao Tijun's face turned pale. So when I did that thing before, did you know it, brother? Seeing his brother's serious face, Yao Jinlei hurriedly explained, Brother, am I such a boring person? How can I come to you every day? Besides, I have only successfully practiced the secret art of teleportation for 3 months. Yao Tijun was relieved after hearing this, and immediately asked Yao Jinlei why he came to him this time. At the same time, he was also thinking about how to get his brother's imperial secret art. With this secret art, wouldn't he be able to appear and disappear in the future? Yao Jinlei said, I asked you to come to watch the fight between Yi Tian and Wu Ming. But you were right, Yi Tian is really too handsome. I also heard that all the girls and some female teachers in No. 2 middle school like him. That boy really has the style of me back then. Seeing his brother talking, he was intoxicated. As if he was as handsome as Yi Tian. Yao Tijun was speechless. Don't you have any idea what you look like? In other words, my sister-in-law is very beautiful. Otherwise, Ruo Wu's appearance will be reduced to a mediocre level by you. However, Yao Tijun had no interest in the fight that his elder brother mentioned. He shook his head and said, What's so interesting about a fight between juniors? I still have a lot of things to do. After that, Yao Tijun quickly reacted and looked at Yao Jinlei in surprise and said, Wait, elder brother, you said you would go to watch their game now. Isn't Yi Tian practicing the Thunder King Gong? Has he already mastered it? At this point, Yao Tijun's tone became very hurried. He couldn't believe it. How long has it been? Yao Jinlei knew what his younger brother was thinking, and there was still a shock on his face that had not completely subsided. He nodded and said, Yes, that kid has already mastered the Thunder King Gong, and it only took half an hour. Half an hour. Upon hearing the news, Yao Tijun widened his eyes, looked at Yao Jinlei in disbelief, and asked, Brother, are you sure that the boy only took half an hour to practice the Thunder King art? Even Ruo Wu, who has the appearance of a martial arts master, took an hour and a half to practice the Thunder King art. If the boy only took half an hour to practice this technique successfully, doesn't it mean that his talent for practice is amazing, with the appearance of a martial arts saint or even a martial arts emperor? Looking at his shocked brother, Yao Jinlei nodded in agreement, and then said with great admiration, Yes. The boy's talent is really extraordinary. After saying this, with a swish, Yao Jinlei's figure disappeared from the spot. Seeing this, Yao Tijun shook his head and quickly followed. You succeeded in practicing so quickly. In the reception room of Yao Ruowu's villa. Yi Tian came here under the guidance of the maid Queer. After reporting, he was soon invited in by Yao Ruowu. When Yao Ruowu first learned that Yi Tian had practiced the Thunder King Gong in just half an hour, her expression was extremely shocked. You know, she didn't do this back then. She is a top genius who stands on par with Fang Hanyu in Ancheng City. Even among the many geniuses in Longda, she can be ranked in the top 300. But even so, she still took an hour and a half to successfully practice the Thunder King Gong. Therefore, Yao Ruowu knew how difficult and talented it was to successfully practice this technique in half an hour. However, after seeing that Yi Tian's vitality was very pure and his cultivation was very stable, Yao Ruowu was even more shocked. Yao Ruowu had practiced the Thunder King art and naturally knew that practicing this art to the entry level was just a matter of practice. At this time, the vitality in the practitioner's body will become relatively pure, but it will definitely not be as pure as Yi Tian's. Moreover, after ordinary people change their cultivation methods, it takes a while to stabilize their cultivation. Even she took some time back then. But Yi Tian, he was able to stabilize his cultivation after just changing his cultivation method. What level of genius is he? The talent of a martial emperor. or the more terrifying talent of a great emperor. When she thought of her casual actions bringing back a man who might have the appearance of a great emperor to the martial arts hall, Yao Ruowu felt extremely shocked in her heart. The huge beast in front of her chest kept rising and falling, as if it was about to burst her dress and come out to worship. Her black pupils suddenly shrank into a dot, and her face was full of shock, disbelief and disbelief. But when she came to her senses, she suddenly wanted to laugh. Hanyu, do you know that Yi Tian's cultivation talent is not ordinary? His cultivation talent is actually far superior to ours, and he can be ranked in the top 10 even in Longda. He is a true genius. Seeing Yao Ruowu's shocked expression, Yi Tian had already realized that he was too high profile. After thinking for a while, he said, I just happened to have some pure thunder essence liquid on me, so I stabilized my cultivation in a short time. Pure thunder essence liquid, that would explain why you were able to stabilize your cultivation so quickly, but it still shows that your cultivation talent is amazing. But Yi Tian, although you have a level 3 martial artist cultivation, Wu Ming is not weak either. Not to mention his level 6 martial artist cultivation, he is also proficient in 2 high-level martial arts, many perfect elementary and intermediate martial arts, and he also practices the family-inherited general-level skills. If he doesn't suppress his cultivation, it will be difficult for you to defeat him. After learning about the bet between Yi Tian and Wu Ming, Yao Ruowu couldn't help but worry about the handsome boy in front of her. Yi Tian was very calm about this and smiled nonchalantly. Miss, you don't have to worry about me. Since I proposed the fight, I naturally have the confidence to beat him. You will know when the time comes. Miss, it's getting late and I should go to the fighting arena. Since you are so confident, I won't say anything. I will go with you. I also want to see you and Wu Ming fight. By the way. At this point, Yao Ruowu suddenly thought of something and said to Yi Tian, wait a minute, I'll get something for you, and then we'll go to the fighting arena. Things. What? Yi Tian was puzzled. He didn't remember that there were other benefits in the contract. As for the Thunder Yuan liquid, it can only be collected in the middle of each month. Swish. Just when Yao Ruowu was about to leave, a long knife suddenly flew in from the window, and then landed lightly on the golden Nanmu table in the reception room. Then a loud voice came from the window. Ruowu, you don't have to look for your second uncle. Your second uncle is willing to accept the loss. This knife will be given to this kid. I hope he won't disgrace the sword of my early years. Yao Ruowu, who was about to leave, smiled brightly and said to the window after hearing this, thank you, second uncle, your generosity. Outside the villa, Yao Tijun, who was turning to leave, suddenly trembled when he heard this. This sounds like a compliment, but why does my niece say it? It always makes me feel bad. Yao Tijun touched the space ring on his finger. I hope I'm wrong. Yi Tian, you have heard what my second uncle said. Take this knife. I hope it can help you. Yao Ruowu handed the long knife on the table to Yi Tian. This is a brigadier-level long knife weapon with a blade of more than 4 feet long, golden in color, and similar in style to a tang sword. Seeing the long knife Yao Ruowu handed to him, Yi Tian was stunned. He couldn't believe that Yao Ruowu's second uncle, a level 3 martial king, actually gave him a brigadier-level weapon and a golden knife. Seeing Yi Tian's confusion, Yao Ruowu then told her about the bet she made with her second uncle. Although Yi Tian understood the reason, he was embarrassed to accept this brigadier-level weapon worth millions. However, seeing that Yi Tian didn't want it, Yao Ruowu insisted again and again. Seeing this, Yi Tian had to say, okay, even if I borrowed it from you, miss, I will definitely pay you back when I have money. Seeing this, Yao Ruowu wanted to say that she didn't need to pay it back. He originally thought that this weapon was a good match for Yi Tian, so he made a bet with his uncle. But thinking that Yi Tian might not want it if he said that, Yao Ruowu nodded and smiled, okay, but I don't like money, you can give me something else. Yao Ruowu's voice was crisp and pleasant. But I don't know if it was intentional, her tone was obviously a little heavier on the word, give. Yi Tian took the black gold long sword handed over by Yao Ruowu and rubbed it lovingly. His attention was on the long sword, and he didn't hear any difference in Yao Ruowu's tone. He just nodded and agreed directly. No problem, I will definitely give you a weapon you like in the future. After saying that, Yi Tian looked at the time and saw that the time for the duel with Wu Ming was approaching, so he said, "Miss, let's go, Wu Ming is probably waiting anxiously." Yi Tian also smiled in his heart. How could he not be anxious? That's 300,000 yuan. Wu Ming was born in a military family, so he didn't care at all. There is a large martial arts training ground to the west of Lei Ting Martial Arts Hall. In the middle of the martial arts training ground, there is a martial arts arena that is more than 1 meter above the ground and has an area of 15 meters by 15 meters. I don't know what metal the martial arts arena is made of, and it is pitch black in the sun. However, there are traces and dents left by various swords, fists, etc. on it, which shows that this martial arts arena has experienced many battles. It's very lively here today. The audience seats around the fighting arena are full of people from the Thunder Martial Arts School. Didn't we agree to fight in half an hour? Why hasn't that kid named Yi Tian come yet? Isn't he afraid to come? He's just a young boy. He probably didn't know Wu Ming's strength before, so he boasted. Now he probably knows Wu Ming's strength, so he backed off. If he dares to fight Wu Ming, I will recognize him even if he loses, but he doesn't even dare to fight now. Is such a person worthy of being called a genius? He's just a flower in a greenhouse. Isn't the time for the fight not here yet? Do you guys have to say this about Yi Tian? I just want to ask you if you dare to fight Wu Ming. That's right, I think you are just jealous of Yi Tian's good looks. Not only is Yi Tian handsome, but he also practiced the Thunder King Kung Fu in just half an hour. This is the appearance of a martial saint or even a martial emperor. Are you jealous? My brother Yi Tian is the strongest. If you give him time, he will definitely grow to an unimaginable height. There are many female members of the martial arts school in the crowd who saw the man mocking Yi Tian, and they all stood up for Yi Tian. When Yi Tian went to Yao Ruowu's villa before, he was seen by many people and took his photo. When his photo was spread, the women in the Thunder Martial Arts School went crazy. They all said that they had found the true love of their lives. Especially when they learned that Yi Tian only took half an hour to practice the Thunder King Gong, their love and admiration were filled with strong fanaticism, admiration and love. The topic of that boy's handsomeness can't be passed, right? That's right, every time when talking about that boy, these women always talk about his handsomeness, and we can't refute it even if we want to refute it. Humph, they are just a group of superficial women who only look at people's appearance. Even if Yi Tian has the appearance of a martial saint or a martial emperor, he is really arrogant. Such a person is very easy to die young. The road of martial arts needs to be taken step by step to reach the highest level. Yi Tian is so arrogant, there will be more powerful people to deal with him. I hope he won't be beaten to pieces by Wu Ming later, otherwise there will be a good show to watch. There are still many men in the crowd who are unhappy, and they all start to speak harshly, which soon caused a wave of criticism from girls. In a tall building, Yao Jinlei drank the fragrant tea poured by the maid, looked at his brother and said, "You have seen him, do you think he can win?" Yao Tijun also picked up a cup of tea and drank it. After drinking it, he put down the teacup and said, "I heard from Ruowu girl that he is a level 3 martial artist, and the level of the skills he practiced is also very low. I guess he doesn't have any powerful martial arts. If I didn't go to see that kid just now, I think he will definitely lose, and he will lose miserably. But after I saw that kid, I found that his cultivation level has stabilized after he switched to practicing skills, and his vitality is still very pure. Even if he used some natural treasures, his stable cultivation and pure vitality will greatly increase his combat power. I now think that even if that kid can't beat Wu Ming, he won't lose too badly." Yao Jinlei put down the teacup in his hand and nodded. "I think the same as you, but that kid can stabilize his cultivation in such a short time, and his vitality is so pure. Even if he used other treasures, it is impossible to do this in such a short time. It can be seen that his cultivation aptitude is really strong, maybe he really has the posture of a martial emperor or even a great emperor. Now I finally know why Ruowu made an exception and let him join the Genius Pavilion. I have to say that my daughter's vision is really the same as mine, as always. Haha, as always, you will cry in the future." Seeing his elder brother talking about himself, Yao Tijun thought of the scene in the future when Yi Tian kidnapped his niece. At that time, he wanted to see how his elder brother would still be arrogant. Fortunately, my good daughter is only 14 years old. No need to worry about being kidnapped by that kid Yi Tian. Brother, Yi Tian is here. At this time, Yao Tijun looked through the window and saw Yi Tian rushing over. There was also Yao Ruowu who came with him. Seeing the two of them talking and laughing, Yao Tijun became more and more certain of his guess. On the martial arts arena, it seems that no one believes you. Yao Ruowu, who was a general, had good hearing and naturally heard the voices around him constantly mocking Yi Tian. They will believe it later. Yi Tian shrugged indifferently, and then smiled again. Not all of them, at least the women here still like me very much. Yao Ruowu laughed when she heard this, and her face turned red again. The women here, including her, did Yi Tian have something to say? Yao Ruowu turned her head and glanced at the handsome boy next to her, and suddenly all kinds of thoughts came to her mind. Look, Yi Tian is here. At this moment, someone in the crowd on the audience found Yi Tian who came here, and a loud shout attracted everyone's attention. At this moment, Wu Ming was already standing on the fighting stage, waiting for Yi Tian. He was wearing a simple but luxurious black training suit. On his shoulder was a black broadsword that was 1.5 palms wide and more than 2 meters long. Seeing Yi Tian, Wu Ming's eyes instantly burst out with a strong fighting spirit, and the vitality of the 6th-level martial artist on his body caused the surrounding air to whistle and rustle. Yi Tian did not notice what Yao Ruowu was thinking. He tiptoed and his body directly crossed a distance of more than 10 meters to the fighting stage. Standing 10 meters away from Wu Ming. They all said that you were scared and didn't dare to come, but I believe you wouldn't be afraid to come, because they don't know what a real man is. Since you said that, I know you are the same as me. Although I admire you, today is my battle of proof, and I will defeat you. Clang! Wu Ming pointed his broadsword at Yi Tian, and his fighting spirit became even stronger. Yi Tian took out the black gold long sword from the space bag, his expression was calm, and he smiled calmly. Just use all your strength, otherwise you can't beat me. This may sound arrogant, but only Yi Tian knows how strong he is now. He has practiced the king-level top-grade skills and has 2 entry-level king-level top-grade martial arts. So how can Wu Ming fight him? Unless Wu Ming has the same configuration as him. Unfortunately, Yao Ruowu has already told him that Wu Ming does not have such a configuration. Okay, then I will do as you wish and fight you with all my strength. I hope you can take the initiative to admit defeat at the critical moment, otherwise my parents can't stop me when I get brave. Wu Ming did not think that Yi Tian's words were arrogant, but he felt that Yi Tian was very suitable for his temper. A real man should have such confidence and heroism. At this time, the referee who had been waiting on the side saw that the time was up and announced directly, "The time is up, the fight begins." He did not say that swords have no eyes and that they should not kill each other. After all, the eldest lady with the cultivation of a general is right below. And he is also a general, and he is confident that he can stop this level of fighting in an instant. Yi Tian, watch this. Crazy sword technique. Furious slash. As soon as the referee's voice fell, Wu Ming, who had been waiting impatiently, immediately took action. He urged the vitality of his whole body and displayed his best high-level attack martial arts. Whoosh whoosh. The vitality poured into the long sword, and a sharp breath instantly burst out from the black gold broadsword, as if to split the fighting stage in half with one sword, and slashed at Yi Tian fiercely. Good guy. Wu Ming actually took out his strongest means right at the beginning. Yi Tian, this kid may not be able to withstand a single blow. When the people in the stands saw this scene, they all felt that the game was about to end. Yao Ruowu in the audience saw Wu Ming's attack and nodded in praise. Very strong. In the same level, only a general-level martial arts can suppress him. But thinking that Yi Tian's cultivation is 3 levels lower than Wu Ming, her heart tightened, wondering if Yi Tian could block this attack. Wu Ming is not bad, let him enter the Genius Pavilion in advance after this battle. In the room, seeing Wu Ming's attack, Thunder King Yao Jinlei nodded approvingly. Yao Tijun was speechless and said, "Brother, why are you like Ruowu, always breaking the rules of my Genius Pavilion? How can I lead this team in the future?" "Ah, I'm just talking, you can disagree, I won't force you." Hearing his brother's complaints, Yao Jinlei said indifferently, "Yao Tijun, your daughter signed the contract directly, and I didn't even have the chance to disagree. What about you? Will you agree if I say I don't agree? However, he also quite agrees with his elder brother's vision. This Wu Ming's swordsmanship is indeed good. I don't know if Yi Tian can withstand it. Time in the outside world seems to have passed very long, but it is actually very short. At this moment, on the fighting stage, just when everyone was curious about how Yi Tian blocked Wu Ming's fierce attack, they saw a scene that shocked them. Crackling. At this moment, the thunder energy in Yi Tian's body was like a bursting dam, surging into the black gold long sword, forming an amazing purple thunder blade energy. At the same time, thunder energy bloomed on Yi Tian's legs. His body disappeared instantly, like a lightning, and rushed in front of Wu Ming in an instant, and the long sword in his hand had been gathering for a long time. The blade energy slashed fiercely. Bang! The purple thunder blade energy carried a surging force and burst out in an instant, crushing Wu Ming's attack in an instant. And this is not over yet, the thunder blade energy has only weakened 50%. The remaining 50% of the blade energy hit Wu Ming's body with undiminished momentum, and Wu Ming was blown away. If Wu Ming had not hurriedly activated his vitality gauze to protect his body at the critical moment, this blow would have sent him to hell. But even so, the violent and overbearing thunder blade energy still directly tore Wu Ming's vitality gauze into pieces. A deep wound was left on his body, and he lost the ability to fight again. This scene happened in a very short time. It was like a fleeting moment. The people watching around did not come back to their senses for a while. After a while, there were sparse gasps, national quintessence, and heated discussions around, and soon became dense. Am I dazzled? I actually saw Wu Ming being defeated by Yi Tian in one blow. Although I can't believe it, it's true. Yi Tian really defeated Wu Ming with one sword. If I'm not mistaken, Yi Tian used the thunder-slashing sword chi that can only be practiced by the king-level ultimate martial arts, thunder-slashing sword technique. Hiss. It took Yi Tian only half an hour to get the Thunder King Gong. Not only did he practice the technique, he also practiced the thunder-slashing sword technique. How talented is he? You may have to hiss a few more times, because Yi Tian not only cultivated the thunder-slashing sword technique, but also cultivated the thunder blast step, so his speed increased several times in an instant, and his cultivation is still at the level of a level 3 martial artist. An 18-year-old level 3 martial artist is already an excellent talent for cultivation, and I didn't expect his comprehension to be so amazing. He has cultivated 2 king-level top-grade martial arts in such a short time. Why is there such a genius in the world? Isn't it? Compared with him, I am only a level 3 martial artist at the age of 24. I can't even get started with the thunder-slashing sword technique and thunder blast step. I am so old that I am living like a dog. Dog. Please don't insult me. Stop talking. If you keep talking, my Dao heart will be shattered. Just now I thought Yi Tian's Dao heart was going to be broken by Wu Ming, but I didn't expect his Dao heart was not broken, but ours was. I shouldn't have come to this place. I really opened my mouth to be hit, and it was hit so loudly. In the audience, countless male geniuses and male gymnasium staff felt their faces flushed and their hearts chilled. Of course, they were more shocked by Yi Tian's strength. Compared with these people, a large number of female geniuses, female gymnasium staff, and some women in the Thunder Martial Arts Hall were shocked and horrified, but also filled with incomparable excitement and ecstasy. Did you see it? Yi Tian defeated the genius Wu Ming with one move. Yi Tian is so amazing. That is a king-level top-grade martial art, and he has practiced it. It's worthy of the man I've chosen. Not only is he handsome, but his talent and strength are also awesome. I can't help but tremble and want to burst out. I really want to fight him for 300 rounds tonight. Brother Yi Tian, look here, sister loves you, sister wants to give you everything and let you squeeze sister hard. Brother Yi Tian is awesome, brother Yi Tian YYDS. So this is your confidence. It turns out that your understanding is so amazing. Offstage, looking at Yi Tian after he showed his might, Yao Ruowu's bright eyes suddenly flashed with all kinds of brilliance. Although she also knew these 2 king-level top-grade martial arts, and had practiced them to the point of great success. But when she saw Yi Tian perform them, she was still shocked. Her beautiful eyes widened, her breathing became rapid, driving her huge chest up and down constantly, and her tender lips also opened wide. From childhood to adulthood, her emotions had never been stirred so violently by a man, and her heart was deeply shocked and could not calm down for a long time. Yi Tian, I wonder what kind of demeanor you will have when you go to Long University in the future and face those geniuses of Long University. In a high-rise room, the entry-level thunder-slashing sword method and the entry-level thunder violent step, it seems that we still underestimated his talent. When Yi Tian performed these two martial arts, Yao Jinlei's hand holding the fragrant tea trembled. You have to know that he is a level 8 martial king, one of the 4 strongest men in Ancheng Base City. How could he not be able to hold a teacup steadily? It can be seen how shocked Yi Tian was to him. Yao Tijun's face was also filled with shock. He also practiced the Thunder King skill. He practiced the Thunder Slashing Sword skill and Thunder Rage Step, 2 top-grade martial arts of the king rank, to perfection. Because of this, he knew the difficulty of practicing these 2 martial arts. If Yi Tian practiced these 2 martial arts to the entry level in one day, he would certainly be amazed that Yi Tian was a genius of comprehension. But his mood would definitely not be like this, and he was shocked for a long time. A person's talent for practice can be improved with natural materials and treasures. But the talent of comprehension is not so easy to improve. But in martial arts practice, the more you practice, the more you value comprehension. It can be seen how rare a genius Yi Tian is. Before, I thought he was just a martial emperor, but now I want to say that as long as he doesn't die halfway, he is destined to enter the realm of martial emperor in the future. Yao Tijun gave a very high evaluation. After saying that, Yao Tijun suddenly envied his elder brother. If Yi Tian becomes a martial emperor or even a great emperor in the future, wouldn't his elder brother be the father-in-law of the martial emperor or the great emperor? He couldn't stand the thought that his elder brother would become more and more arrogant in the future because he was the father-in-law of the martial emperor or the great emperor. Xiao Ru, you have to grow up quickly. It all depends on you whether dad can stop watching your uncle's arrogant look in the future. No, it seems that 14 years old can already. A very good idea suddenly popped up in Yao Tijun's mind. And his golden sword is in the hands of that kid. Of course, if you take his golden sword, it will be his golden sword. Second brother, since he defeated Wu Ming, who is a level 6 martial artist, give him the 2 benefits in advance. In addition, we should go to see such a genius. Yao Jinlei stood up and was about to use the teleportation secret technique to leave, but found that his arm was grabbed by his younger brother. Looking at Yao Tijun in confusion, Yao Tijun laughed and said, "Brother, let me take a ride and experience the feeling of teleportation." The martial king has the ability to fly and is extremely fast, but Yao Tijun thinks that teleportation is more impressive. Unfortunately, this was obtained by his elder brother at the risk of his life in a secret place, and he was embarrassed to ask for it. Moreover, his elder brother often used it to show off after practicing this secret technique. He estimated that it would be difficult to ask for it, so he could only envy it. I was defeated by Yi Tian in one blow. On the ground next to the fighting arena, Wu Ming lay in a big letter shape, unwilling to get up for a long time. The injuries on his body have been stabilized by the referee with pills, and he can recover completely as long as he rests for a few days. But he was hurt in his heart. He thought that he was older than Yi Tian, so his strength was higher than Yi Tian, so he went to the eldest lady to ask for an explanation and to fight with Yi Tian. But after the battle just now, Wu Ming realized that his strength was not as good as Yi Tian, and the gap was huge. Although Yi Tian's realm was not as high as his, the fighting power he showed made him tremble. He knew that Yi Tian had held back on that knife just now. Otherwise, he might have been drinking soup from Meng Po. Although Wu Ming was stubborn, it did not mean that he was stupid. After realizing the huge gap between himself and Yi Tian, he also became convinced of Yi Tian's strength. However, Wu Ming was not someone who could not afford to lose. Moreover, he was devoted to the pursuit of martial arts, the pursuit of becoming stronger, and full of fighting spirit in martial arts. Soon, he was full of fighting spirit again. Although Yi Tian is very strong, the main reason why I lost to him this time is that his skills are better than mine. He has also cultivated the Thunder Slashing Sword skill and Thunder Brutal Step. When I also cultivate the Thunder King skill in these 2 martial arts, I will definitely be able to defeat him. Yes, I can definitely beat him. Wu Ming began to pua himself. Are you okay? At this time, Yi Tian walked to Wu Ming and extended his hand with concern. He didn't really care about the other person's life or death, but he didn't want his 300,000 to go down the drain. He did save some strength in the last blow, otherwise it would be enough to kill Wu Ming, the genius, with one blow. However, Yi Tian chose to hold back not only because he didn't get the 300,000 bet. More importantly, it was because he and Wu Ming were just having an ordinary fight. There was no deep hatred between the two. This guy was also straightforward, not a bad guy. Why would he kill someone just because of a fight? It also made him look too bloodthirsty. I'm fine, I will transfer the 300,000 to you soon. Wu Ming grabbed Yi Tian's hand and stood up. He wanted to say something else, but he didn't know what to say. When he thought of all the big words he had said before, he felt embarrassed and wanted to find a place to hide. Now he could only talk about the bet. Okay, let's add each other's contact information and exchange more martial arts in the future. Seeing Wu Ming took the initiative to bring up the bet, Yi Tian took out his mobile phone with a smile. The stubborn Wu Ming didn't hear Yi Tian's subtext, and really thought that Yi Tian was willing to exchange martial arts with him in the future. He was overjoyed and said, okay, I will challenge you again after I practice Thunder King Gong. Hearing Wu Ming say this, Yi Tian opened his mouth. He wanted to slap himself in the face. How could he forget that this guy is a straightforward person? Why did he beat around the bush with him? But soon Wu Ming's next words made Yi Tian laugh. Don't worry, I won't waste your time. Just like this time, I am willing to take out the bet. As long as you win, I will give you 300,000. Even if I win, I won't take your bet. What do you think? Wu Ming is not a person who takes advantage of others, and said with full sincerity. How can I do this? I, Yi Tian, also like to fight with strong people. Even if you don't pay me, I will accept your challenge. But since you have such a kind intention, it would be inappropriate for me not to accept it, right? Yi Tian was immediately happy when he heard Wu Ming's words. There is another way to make money. Not long after, Yao Ruowu came over. She first congratulated Yi Tian, and then took out a high-level healing pill and gave it to Wu Ming, and then said to Yi Tian. My father and second uncle want to see you. Of course, if you don't want to see them, I can help you get them back. Do the two kings want to see me? Yi Tian was a little surprised. These two are both martial kings, the face of the Thunder Martial Arts Hall, especially Yao Ruowu's father, Thunder King, who is one of the 4 strong men in Ancheng City. Such people want to see him. Yi Tian naturally dare not neglect, and nodded in agreement. Under the leadership of Yao Ruowu. Not long after, Yi Tian came to a magnificent reception room and met Yao Ruowu's father and second uncle. The former was tall and wore a purple training suit. He didn't have any aura, but he gave off a strong aura. The latter was also tall and wore a purple suit. He didn't have any aura, but he also had a strong aura. They sat in the main seats. They all stood up when they saw Yi Tian. They all walked towards Yi Tian with a warm smile and extended their hands to shake hands with Yi Tian. Yi Tian paused, and then he understood why the two were so enthusiastic about him. They probably thought that he had mastered the Thunder King skill and 2 king-level top-grade martial arts in such a short time, and they thought he was gifted, so they wanted to make friends with him. Otherwise, it couldn't be that they thought he was too handsome and wanted to marry their daughter to him, right? Meet the owner and the deputy owner. Yi Tian shook hands with the 2 men one after another, but he didn't know how to address them, so he finally chose to address them as the owner. Yao Jinlei patted Yi Tian's shoulder affectionately, and praised him generously. Yi Tian, I watched the fight between you and Wu Ming just now. You are indeed a young man with strong strength, handsome appearance, gifted talent, and politeness. You are really a rare good boy. From now on, you can call me uncle. The title of owner is too unkind. Yi Tian wanted to laugh. If you didn't think I was a genius, you wouldn't just call you a simple name and praise me for being polite. Yi Tian still had self-awareness and didn't get carried away because of this. Yi Tian, I'll take you to meet my daughter Xiaoru later. You young people will have a lot to talk about, and my daughter Xiaoru likes geniuses like you the most. Yao Tijun approached Yi Tian and said with a smile, which made Yi Tian stunned. What does this martial king mean? Does he really want to marry his daughter to him? On the way here, Yao Ruowu told him some information about their family. Yi Tian knew that Yao Tijun had a son and a daughter. Not to mention his son, his daughter seemed to be only 14 years old. My martial king, do you think I'm good? Yi Tian was speechless and had to ignore this topic. Fortunately, the two martial kings only met him, encouraged him a few words and asked him to work hard on his training, and then left. However, before leaving, Yao Jinlei gave him a general-level secret technique. Yao Tijun gave him two benefits that only martial artists who reached level 5 can enjoy, as well as some yuanxi and lei yuanyi. There are some benefits in the Genius Pavilion that require a certain level to enjoy, such as the yuanxi training room and the gravity training room. The former can speed up training, and the latter can strengthen the body. However, even free benefits are limited in time. Generally, martial artists are only eligible for 3 days of training a month, while martial masters can practice for a week. The benefits that Yao Tijun gave Yi Tian in advance were the Qi training room and the gravity training room. After separating from the two kings, Yi Tian was curious about these two benefits and came here under the guidance of Yao Ruowu. Is this the Qi training tower? I feel that the Qi here is much richer than other places before I enter. Feeling the active Qi in the air, Yi Tian sighed. The Qi training room is located in a tower-shaped building more than 20 meters high. The tower is covered with runes and glittering. Yao Ruowu explained to Yi Tian considerately. The Qi training tower is arranged with a king-level Qi gathering formation, which can gather the Qi in the air. When you get inside, you will know that the Qi there is so rich. After that, Yao Ruowu reminded, but because you are only at the level 3 martial artist, you can only practice in the Qi training room on the 2nd floor. The Qi training rooms above require a certain level of cultivation. Yi Tian didn't care about it. He was already very satisfied to be able to practice in advance. It's okay, miss, let's go in. Yi Tian said indifferently. Yao Ruowu nodded, but seeing that Yi Tian kept calling her miss, politely, she felt a little uncomfortable and said to Yi Tian, my father has asked you to call him uncle, so don't be polite to me anymore, just call me Ruowu, it seems more intimate. Okay, Ruowu. Yi Tian didn't think much and called her that. Hearing that, Yao Ruowu had a sweet smile on her pretty face and her mood became very good. Immediately, the two of them walked into the Qi training room together. There were many geniuses coming in and out here, but basically they all knew Yao Ruowu and Yi Tian. Miss. Some people greeted Yao Ruowu, but the men looked at Yi Tian with unkindness and visible jealousy. Yi Tian was speechless. Why did all the men he met look at him like this wherever he went? Is it a crime to be handsome? Yi Tian didn't know that these people were just envious and jealous of him being able to walk side by side with Yao Ruowu. There were countless young people in the Thunder Martial Arts Hall who regarded Yao Ruowu as a goddess who could not be desecrated. They longed to be looked at by her more. Yi Tian could walk side by side with Yao Ruowu, chatting and laughing. How could they not be jealous and hateful when they saw her? However, seeing that many women looked at him with surprise, enthusiasm and admiration, Yi Tian was relieved. There are still people who know how to appreciate his handsomeness. Deputy uncle, this is Yi Tian, who has obtained the qualification to enter the Qi training room in advance. Please register. Registration office on the 1st floor. Yao Ruowu took out an ID card and handed it to an administrator lying on a recliner. This administrator is an old man who looks like he is in his 50s or 60s, but he is in good spirits. His cultivation level cannot be seen, but Yi Tian knows that his strength is definitely very strong. Because he felt a strong pressure from the other party. Although it is far inferior to the two kings, it is not something that a martial arts master can have. This should be a strong man in the realm of high-level generals. Uncle Fu glanced at Yi Tian, nodded, and praised. Young man, I watched your game, it's very good, and you can indeed enjoy the benefits of the Qi training room in advance. Take the ID card. When you come to practice in the future, just take the card and swipe the card yourself. The old man scanned the instrument, entered some information, and gave the ID card to Yi Tian. This is the ID card for joining the Thunder Martial Arts School. Before, Yi Tian went to fight Wu Ming after training, but Yao Ruowu never gave it to him. Yi Tian took it, thanked Uncle Fu, and then went up to the second floor with Yao Ruowu. Is this just the Qi training room on the second floor? The Qi is so rich. When they came to a training room on the second floor, Yi Tian felt as if he was in the flow of Qi. The Qi in the air was dense, like clouds, and squeezed into him. Yao Ruowu saw Yi Tian's surprised expression and said with a smile on her face, the Qi concentration in the Qi training room on the second floor is 6 times that of the outside world. The higher the floor, the richer the Qi in the Qi training room. The Qi concentration in the Qi training room on the highest 9th floor is 30 times that of the outside world. It has accumulated into a liquid on the ground, but only those with the King realm can enter. Even I can't enter at will. Okay, Yi Tian, you can practice here. If you want to know anything, you can ask me on your phone. Yao Ruowu waved to Yi Tian, then walked out of the practice room and closed the door for Yi Tian. After Yao Ruowu left, Yi Tian sat cross-legged on the cushion and practiced the Thunder King technique to absorb the surrounding vitality. His talent was very poor, and even with the blessing of the perfect Thunder King technique, his practice speed was still not very fast. Forget it, the vitality practice room is not suitable for me. I might as well go to the wild to hunt exotic animals with this time. After practicing for more than an hour, Yi Tian found that his practice progress was really slow. Yi Tian felt tired. It's impossible to practice in the future, how can I increase my wealth so quickly? After getting used to riding a rocket, Yi Tian no longer wanted a bicycle. It's a pity that this benefit doesn't have to be wasted, it would be great if it could be cashed in. Walking out of the practice room, seeing Yi Tian frowning, Fu Bo asked curiously, are you dissatisfied with the concentration of vitality in the practice room on the second floor? For Yi Tian, a genius, the old man was still very polite. He knew that Yao Tijun wanted to match his daughter with this man. You know, Yao Tijun is a daughter slave, and his daughter is still so young. It can be seen that he values Yi Tian. As an old man in the martial arts hall, Fu Bo naturally hopes that the martial arts hall will get better and better, and that more geniuses, real geniuses, can stay here for a long time. Yi Tian is undoubtedly a real genius. Old Fu, I'm not dissatisfied with the concentration of vitality on the second floor, but I don't like the practice environment there. Yi Tian replied, but he didn't say much. After all, his idea was too alternative. Sure enough, after hearing this, Fu Bo's mouth twitched constantly. Listen, is this human talk? Are there any practitioners in the world who don't like the training environment in the Qi training room? If this word gets out, those geniuses who have been trying their best to get in will probably vomit blood collectively. He is indeed a true genius. His idea is very unique. Since the Qi training room is like this, Yi Tian did not go to the gravity training room. Then Yi Tian contacted Yao Ruowu and asked him to take him to the residential area in the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. This area is very large, with many high-rise buildings and some single-family buildings. Members of the Genius Pavilion can choose a house here, but the welfare benefits they can enjoy are different for different genius levels. Geniuses like Yi Tian can live in single-family buildings. Yi Tian found a single-family building in a quiet location as his home in the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. Seeing that it was getting late, Yi Tian sent Yao Ruowu away and went to bed directly. He experienced too much that day and was particularly tired. He didn't even check the things given by the two kings. The next day, Yi Tian slept until the afternoon before getting up, feeling energetic and comfortable. He was going home today. But before going back, he thought of his mother who was suffering from the blood poison python poison, so he found Yao Ruowu to ask if there was any elixir that could completely remove the poison. 10 years ago, Anchang City encountered a beast tide, and many strange beasts broke into the city and killed humans. In that disaster, her mother was bitten off her legs by a more than 10-meter-long second level 5 blood poison python in order to save him. Fortunately, a martial arts master appeared at that time and killed the blood poison python with one blow. Otherwise, her mother would have been swallowed by the blood poison python. Although his mother received timely treatment, she was eventually invaded by a lot of blood poison. Over the years, it has now invaded his mother's internal organs and flesh, like a maggot attached to the bone, and is very difficult to eradicate. Although Yi Tian is confident that he can get the holy level elixir, the life and creation pill, in the future, distant water cannot quench a nearby fire. He hopes to remove the poison in his mother's body first, so that his mother does not have to suffer from the blood poison every day. Yi Tian had also checked on the internet before, but apart from the healing holy medicine life and creation pill, he did not get any other clues. Thinking that Yao Ruowu is a descendant of King Wu and has been to Longdu, he must be knowledgeable and know what he doesn't know. Yao Ruowu is very concerned about Yi Tian's affairs. After thinking for a while, her beautiful eyes lit up and smiled at Yi Tian. Yi Tian, according to your description, your aunt has been tortured by blood poison for 10 years. It is estimated that the blood poison has been deeply rooted in your mother's body. So if you want to completely eradicate this poison without hurting your aunt's body, it is best to use Buluodin. Buluodin, what kind of elixir is this? Yi Tian had never heard of this kind of elixir, so he asked about it. Yao Ruowu patiently explained. This is a high-level elixir made from buluo fruit as the main ingredient and 13 kinds of good medicines for detoxification and healing. It can remove all kinds of poisons without injury, and removing the poison of the second-level blood poison python is no problem at all. Even if Auntie has been poisoned for 10 years, it can still be removed without hurting Auntie's body. Hearing about the effect of Buluodan, Yi Tian was overjoyed. And it was just a high-level elixir, even if the price was very expensive, but he believed that he could earn enough money to buy it in a short time. Ruowu, tell me where to buy this elixir. Knowing that his mother could be saved, Yi Tian excitedly grabbed Yao Ruowu's hand and asked, and immediately felt the softness and warmth from his palm. However, Yi Tian soon realized the recklessness of his behavior, embarrassedly retracted his hand, scratched his head, and smiled. Ruowu, sorry, I'm a little excited. It's okay, I understand. Yao Ruowu smiled sweetly, very considerate. Although she was stunned for a moment after Yi Tian grabbed her hand, and felt a little shy, she was amused by Yi Tian's shy and helpless look. It turns out that this great genius also has such a lovely side. Yao Ruowu's face was immediately happy, and then she thought of something, and her face became gloomy and said, Yi Tian, because buluo fruit is rare, there are few places to sell this kind of elixir, but you don't have to worry too much. My martial arts hall happens to have one, but it has been used as a reward for the task of guarding the medicine in a week. Hearing what Yao Ruowu said before, Yi Tian was still worried. But after hearing her later words, Yi Tian's mood immediately improved, and he immediately asked Yao Ruowu what the task of guarding the medicine was. Yao Ruowu knew that Yi Tian was anxious, and finished quickly. Thunder Martial Arts Hall has many industries, the largest of which is the Yuan medicine base. At this time every year, the medicinal materials in the Yuan medicine base will mature, and Thunder Martial Arts Hall will arrange people to harvest and bring them back. However, the medicine base of the Thunder Martial Arts School was built outside the city. Whenever the medicine matures, it will emit strong fluctuations of Yuan qi. The alien beasts are very sensitive to this kind of natural treasure. Not to mention that the Yuan qi fluctuations emitted by the large amount of medicine in the medicine base when it matures have a wide range of radiation. So every time the Thunder Martial Arts School harvests the medicine, it will attract many alien beasts to invade. The task of guarding the medicine is to recruit warriors to resist the alien beasts. The Buluodin is the first prize for this medicine guarding task, which is awarded to the practitioner who performs best in the medicine guarding task. The judging criteria are also very simple, that is, who kills more and higher level alien beasts. After understanding the task of guarding the medicine, Yi Tian smiled knowingly. This task is very suitable for him. Killing alien beasts can not only obtain beast cores and alien beast materials, but also get contribution rewards, and there is no upper limit to the contribution of this task, depending on the number and level of the killed alien beasts. Ruowu, I accept this task, Yi Tian said decisively. For him, whether it was to kill strange beasts to make money and improve his strength, or to fight for the Buluodin for his mother, he would go. After that, Yi Tian asked Yao Ruowu to tell him how to operate. Okay, I'll help you. Yao Ruowu knew that Yi Tian needed the determination of Buluodin, so she didn't persuade him. Although the task of guarding the medicine is very dangerous, how can the road of martial arts go far without facing the wind and rain? Although Yi Tian is gifted, He can't reach the realm of martial emperor or even great emperor by practicing in a greenhouse. Besides, this Buluodin can help Yi Tian's mother. Yao Ruowu didn't tell Yi Tian that she would find a way to withdraw this pill and replace it with other rewards. She saw that although Yi Tian usually spoke very easygoing, he was very strong and self-respecting in his bones. Otherwise, with his stunning handsomeness, he would have become a guest of honor for countless powerful female warriors. Even if she was willing to do so, Yi Tian would probably not agree. After helping Yi Tian take on the task, Yao Ruowu reminded Yi Tian that the task of guarding the medicine was very dangerous, and asked him to practice more in the vitality training room in the next few days to strengthen his strength. Yi Tian nodded solemnly and thanked Yao Ruowu for his concern and reminder. There is still 1 week left for the task. After Yi Tian planned to visit his parents, he would go to the fallen leaf forest to hunt monsters to improve his strength. He must get this Buluodin. Ancheng City is divided into the inner city and the outer city. The inner city is basically where warriors and rich people live. It is safe and has a good environment. The outer city is relatively where ordinary people live, and the environment is much worse. However, the basic public security and business environment of the outer city are still stable. It is when encountering a beast tide. The outer city is much more dangerous than the inner city. Among the several beast tides experienced in the history of Ancheng City, the most dangerous beast tide was that the beasts only attacked the inner city wall. But most of the beast tides were as stable as Money.I and did not suffer any impact. But every time the beast tide came, the outer city would be attacked by a large number of beasts, and people suffered heavy casualties. The high school martial arts colleges in Ancheng City are all in the inner city, which is why Yi Tian has been living in the school dormitory. After leaving the Thunder Martial Arts Hall, Yi Tian took a car back home. A small house of more than 60 square meters, with 2 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen, a bathroom and a balcony. But every time he returns here, Yi Tian can always feel relaxed and comfortable at the spiritual level. Mom, it's the weekend today, where's Dad? Did he go out to work part-time again? Not seeing his father, Yi Tian went to his mother's room to ask her. Wu Feng leaned on the headboard, with a pillow behind her waist, knitting a sweater to supplement the family's income. After years of blood poisoning, her originally very good face was dull, with dark spots in some places, and her eyebrows showed pain from time to time. Seeing her son coming back, Wu Feng's face quickly showed joy, and nodded to Yi Tian. Well, several friends of your father asked him to move for a family, and he should be back soon. Hearing this, Yi Tian felt sour in his heart. Moving is heavy physical work. Dad has been working too much for the family expenses in recent years, and his health has been getting worse day by day. Doing such heavy work will hurt his body even more. Yi Tian decided to give the money to his father later, and asked him not to work anymore in the future, just take care of his mother at home. Then Yi Tian took out a primary detoxification pill from the space bag and handed it to his mother, saying, Mom, I bought a pill that will help your illness, take it quickly. Although the primary detoxification pill is not as effective as the Buluo pill, it can also relieve the mother's pain to a certain extent. Seeing the pill that Yi Tian took out, Wu Feng's eyes flashed with a very surprised look, wondering if her son had gone out to do something bad. This kind of primary detoxification pill costs thousands of yuan each. How can his son afford it? Seeing his mother's doubts, Yi Tian knew that in order to dispel his mother's doubts and worries, he could only show his strength. But Yi Tian didn't plan to show all of it. His current realm is too high for his mother. She may not be able to accept it all at once. It's better to do it bit by bit. So Yi Tian released a cultivation of the 4th level warrior realm. Shaoshan, you actually became a warrior, and a 4th level warrior. Wu Feng was also a cultivator before. She had a good talent. Before she was injured, she had a 9th level martial arts apprentice cultivation. If her cultivation had not been falling after the injury, she would have become a real warrior long ago. Wu Feng could naturally judge Yi Tian's cultivation level. Her gloomy face that was invaded by the virus immediately showed a look of shock. But after coming to her senses, Wu Feng was also confused. Wasn't her son's strength a 2nd level martial arts apprentice? How did he become a 4th level warrior all of a sudden? Although shocked, Wu Fang quickly calmed down. In response to his mother's question, Yi Tian had already thought of an explanation when he chose to show his strength. Yi Tian immediately showed an excited expression and said, "Mom, in fact, you don't know that my talent is actually very strong, but my physique is very special and needs a spiritual object to activate it. Before, because I didn't have that spiritual object to activate it, my cultivation has always been mediocre. But not long ago, my son was lucky to meet a powerful existence. He helped me activate my physique, so my cultivation has grown rapidly and I made a lot of money. And I also joined the Thunder Martial Arts Hall and became a genius in the Genius Pavilion of the Thunder Martial Arts Hall. There is no parent in the world who doesn't believe in his son." Although this statement may still arouse suspicion in others, Wu Fang believed Yi Tian after listening to Yi Tian's explanation, and kept saying, Okay, I knew that my Tianer is not a simple person. After all, my Tianer is so handsome, how can his cultivation talent be bad? But Tianer, although you are gifted and your cultivation has improved a lot, you must not be proud. The more proud and complacent a person is, the harder it is to see himself clearly. Sooner or later, he will encounter big troubles, you know. Also, when you have achieved something in the future, you must repay that powerful existence, you know. We should be grateful as people. Mom, don't worry, your son will not be proud, and he also knows the principle of repaying kindness. Now you can eat this pill, right?" Yi Tian nodded repeatedly to his mother's admonition, indicating that he listened to it. In fact, his answer was not considered to be deceiving his mother. The powerful existence is of course the system. The spiritual object is the wealth value. Okay, Mom will eat it now, my son is capable." Despite the admonition, Wu Fang did not forget to praise her son. As a young man, you should still praise him, and she was also very excited and happy. Which parent in the world does not want his son to become a dragon? Want his daughter to become a phoenix? Eat Yi Tian's filial piety. Wu Fang felt that the pain in her body was relieved a lot, and her brows were relaxed. Seeing that her mother's expression was much better, Yi Tian took out all the primary detoxification pills and healing pills in the space bag, put them in front of her mother and said, "Mom, you keep these pills and tell your son when you finish them. Your son has plenty of money now." He patted his space bag as he was afraid that his mother would be reluctant to spend his money. He was more determined to get the Buluodin. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.